we're going. We're live now.
Okay.
Ah! Okay.
Yeah, babe. Yeah. Well, because I'm live. Yeah, 3. Men never listen.
Okay. All right, everybody, we are actually live now. So sorry about that 4-minute delay. Had some technical difficulties. If you know me, live streaming never goes as smoothly as I want it to. So thank you so much for joining us. I am Shannon from the Odious Soul, and I have with me Candy, also known as Chasing Indy. How are you guys doing tonight? All right. Candy, you good?
Yes, I'm just getting on the chat room right now. I'm a little burnt, but I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, when Candy, we first got on here, she was actually in the swimming pool, which made me so completely jealous. Oh, very much jealous. All right, so who all do we have with us so far? There's only 10 of you guys watching so far. You got to tell your friends and your family and everybody else to hop on. No, Randy, we just got on. It started literally right now. So you did not miss anything. It started at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a 4-minute delay for technical difficulties. So we are here. Hi, Because I Can. How are you doing? And Bobby, I've already been talking to you in the chat room a little bit. So hello, hello. All right. So, Candy.
Yes.
Are you ready to get this party started?
Hold that thought. Yes, I am.
I still need to pour my drink. Oh, my best friend Jill is in the chat room. Everybody say hello to Jill. She's my bestie in the whole wide world.
Hello, Jill.
She has saved my life and I have saved her life, literally. So she's amazing. Who else we got? Anon. Hey, how are you doing? Fred. Hi, Fred. How are you? To prepare for this show, it is happy hour time, at least on the East Coast. And for all of you on the West Coast, you can pregame. So I'm going to pour myself a quick little drink here. And I'm not going to drink too much because this is a long show. So give me a second here while I pour.
I promise I'll behave.
All right, I'm just drinking iced tea with some tequila. So
what? How does that taste?
It tastes good, but everything tastes good with tequila. It's like the new vodka.
I've never thought of adding iced tea to tequila. That's interesting.
The best thing is actually lime seltzer water, like the sparkling waters. Get a lime flavor with the tequila. You can't even taste the tequila. It's
really?
Amazing. But I'm out of that. Wow. That's a nice tea it is. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So just to kind of give you a brief description of what's going to happen tonight, you're going to watch me and I get drunk live on the internet. No, I'm just joking. We're not. But what you are going to see is we're going to bring on some puzzle and hunt creators. We got a couple guys lined up for later on. So for the first hour, you're kind of stuck with just us. Lucky you guys. So what would you guys like to talk about with us? I mean, we have a couple things. I know, Candy, you're working on a hunt, and I know you're nowhere near ready to talk about it, but you are working on it.
Well, I mean, I could say some things, but yes, it is a major work in progress, but I do have everything already set up, outlined, constructed. I just need my illustrator I need to light a fire under my illustrator's butt, basically. And then we can go from there.
So are you going to give us any little hints or clues what your little hunt might be like?
I can tell you the title of the treasure hunt.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm naming it Fish Bait, a tale, and then that's spelled Tail, of two sisters.
Okay, all right. And why did you name it that?
I mean, you'll find out soon enough. But it's definitely going to have a Tim Burton-esque type feel to it. Okay. And it's not going to be like anything you're used to in regards to treasure hunts. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, and you're going to have to really think about things to make it happen.
All right. All right. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm still in a place after that Fen treasure hunt that I'm like, I'm scared to start getting into any of these hunts. And
Yeah.
so most of the people we have coming on tonight, like I know nothing about their stuff or very little about their actual hunts. So it's
Mhm.
going to be new for me. I'm going to ask a lot of questions because I don't know, because I have, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you know I've been gardening instead of doing puzzles and treasure hunts. So it's been a nice relaxing thing to do during this lovely COVID time. So, oh look, we have Minotaur Marino in the room. What's up? How are you? And Fred, I'm Eastern Standard Time, so it's actually 6 p.m. here. Glad it's only 3 o'clock where you are. But remember, Fred, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere, okay? So cheers. And it's Friday, so I mean, Friday you can start as early as you want, right?
That's very true. It's very true. Oh, Randy, it's going to be a mix of every type of Tim Burton vibe you can think of. It's mostly going to be just like the style of illustration for Tim Burton. That's what I'm kind of going for. I saw in the chat he asked that question.
Oh yeah, I definitely see that. That's very cool.
I'm paying attention. Yay.
All right, so as we're talking, if there is a hunt that you would like to talk about, please feel free to throw it in the chat room. And also, Super Chat is turned on, so if you want to give a little love to your ladies this evening, as we entertain you, feel free to do a Super Chat. It'll also bring your comment front and center for us all to see. And Candy and I will be splitting any Super Chats that you send, so just an FYI. Okay. See here.
I see Tony asked the question, do we need to know anything about Tim Burton? No, you won't need to know anything about that. Whatever information you'll need to know in regards to my treasure hunt, it will be in the book itself, or I'll leave little clues and hints in regards to you finding more on Google. For instance, I don't know if you played my riddle, Shannon, with my Harry Potter riddle. But I kind of had everyone on Wild Goose Chase for a while until I finally dropped that it was Harry Potter. And I felt like I feel really bad when people aren't getting things. So I slowly just gave out what it was. And finally on, was it K-Pro and Cow's channel? I gave out the ultimate hint. I knew once I released it, it would have been over within hours. So that's my biggest issue. Just like H, I have to keep away from saying too much if I want it to last longer. So I'm working on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a challenge. It's just like you want to be there and be supportive of others and let them know if they're on the right path or not. But at the same time, you don't want to say too much and give it away for somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I did an eye treasure hunt. What was it, last year? Last winter? And I mean, that was the thing. People would message me all frustrated. And it's like, no, don't give up. Don't give up. You're, just differently, just twist it. Like you're like, don't give up yet. But yeah, it was hard. Like, I don't know how Forrest did it for so long.
I think I was starting to upset a lot of people because every time they would submit something that wasn't the correct answer, I'd say, sorry, thanks for trying to play my hunt. Think again. And I kept saying, think again, think again. And I was getting hundreds of emails. And I was just like, this is so cool. But I also probably feel like how Fen slightly felt in the chase, because you want to help someone, but you can't, because then that's giving in like secret information. So if I did say anything, I would go right out online and say, this is what I said. Here you go. Because one time I let it slip. It was Harry Potter because someone had it. I was like, oh no, I got to fix this issue. So I went out and was like, you guys, Harry Potter. And I did like big old lightning bolt earrings. Everyone's like, Thor? And I'm like, no, Harry Potter. So you just got to be careful of that.
All right. Well, Minotaur Marino asked us for treasure hunts. Where is your line for too hard versus not hard enough? Oh, I guess for me, I mean, you got to look to the ultimate Forest Fen hunts. For one, there was no confirmation that you were on the right path. And I think a hunt that's too hard is something that you don't even know if you have the right starting place. Like, you don't know if you're anywhere in the ballpark, like when it comes to solving it. Like the treasure hunt you just explained, like the $100,000 one, it sounds like there was things like you had to pass one to get to the next, and then so on and so forth. So
it was worse because there was no instructions. There was no instructions. You were just running around with your head cut off.
But I mean, you had to finish one before you can move on to the next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though that might be hard, that's at least you're at least feeling like you're getting somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
to me, it's like when you don't even know if you have the first clue answered correctly. Like if you're just like, I think this is it, and I think this is it because of this, and this, but there's no way to confirm that. Like to me, I feel like that's hard. Like I can handle puzzles, I can handle ciphers, because if a cipher isn't working, you know a cipher isn't working. So you can keep working and keep trying until you have like a solution to a cipher that actually makes sense, where like if there's no confirmation that you're, you know, even playing in the same ball field, I mean, that's to me, that's really tough. That's hard.
Yeah, that's true. I also think it comes down to point of view, because I mean, obviously you have your treasure hunts where it involves a little bit of everything, so everyone can also enjoy it and, you know, have a piece of it, and they can go online and collaborate with other people to get it solved faster. That's how we started solving the riddle yesterday. But then there's also other ways, like, you know, for Sven, his was mainly words. That's what I love so much, because words, you are limited to certain aspect of it, because you can look up the word and you can use it only in a certain way or out of its certain context, but you can't use it for anything else. But then you got like ciphers, like you said, if it doesn't work, you know, it doesn't work. And then there's all those other things, like I don't even like numerology, and I don't even know what's going on with the beacon star. I haven't even tried to tap into that because that's not my forte. So I'm just like, no, thank you. It's a brilliant work of art, but yeah, that's something I can never tackle. So I think it just depends on what you're good at and what you're willing to try and teach yourself. Because half the reason I do treasure hunts is so I can teach myself new things and new tricks, so I can progress into other hunts.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it too, because even if you don't win, you're still expanding your mind. It's still going on an adventure, and you're still learning. And as long as you're learning, you're staying young and growing, and you know,
keep building your own.
Exactly. You know, I'm also thinking like something that's too hard for me is something where it's buried. You know, buried treasure is probably super hard because, you know, I mean, you could dig anywhere, right? How do you know you're in the right spot?
Yeah.
So everybody stop burying hidden treasures out there. You know, make it easy.
I'm actually doing that. I'm not going to do any burying. I'm not going to do any proxy items. It's all going to be online.
I mean, covering it up and hiding it like under something is fine. It's something that you can move without feeling bad or destroying property. But when it comes,
I can see everyone just lifting stuff up. There's just like someone sitting on her bench. Excuse me, let me lift this up, sir. Is there a proxy item here?
I mean, I've turned a few rocks over in my day looking for things. So, all right. So what else we got? Yes, Randy, you don't want your hunt to be so easy that it only lasts 4 hours. That's for sure. You know, but like, I think when you look at like hunts, like The Secret, you know, and like Forest Fens hunts, you know, we don't necessarily want them to go on for decades either, you know, because that's what we have the problem with The Secret right now is things change. Construction happens. Like the one in Boston, like they found it at a construction site. Like if that guy did not get there on that day, like Lord knows, like that could have been lost forever, just as many other ones could have. So you want to like, you wanted to be out there and last, but you know, I look at like H's, some of his hunts, like how long has Woodsy Swamp been out there for now?
Oh God, I think the first one he ever did, I have my first video on that on my channel, but I think the first one he did was like 2003 maybe.
That long ago?
I think so. It was like the very first one. It was the Wolf Runs cache, and it was supposed to be like his legacy. That's what he said. And then a father and son ended up finding it. So then when he realized that they had so much fun working together, because he said they worked like 7 or 8 months working on this to try and find it. And he said that once he knew their story and how much they had fun and bonding together doing this, that's what made him want to hide other caches. So I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. So do you know how many he's hidden total now?
Oh Lordy. I still have to release videos on his other caches. I stopped at, I think, cache number 3, the Theodosia cache, but I was getting haunted about Theodosia. So I still have that video I'm going to release. I was going to do Theodosia and then the number 4. I can't remember which ones they are in order. A lot of them are buried, or not buried, they're hidden wherever he put them. But he has yet to release the stories or the PDFs on them. Like, I know a lot of people are asking about Scotty the Pirate, and I'm like, I don't even know much about that. I know he went with the kid and hid the treasure, but he needs to still go back home and write the PDF or the story and release it. So in total, I don't really remember how many he has. I think maybe 12 so far that are active that haven't been found. Just a couple, like I think a month ago, the Outlaw Cache was found. And I find it hilarious because, again, how I say, you know, it's hard not to say too much to help people. He was on my show with Natalie about the parish hunt. And he started saying, oh, yeah, so-and-so was about 200 feet away from the Outlaw Cache. And it turns out that person was watching my video. And he was like, you guys, he's talking about us. And so they went back that weekend and found it. So I was like, oh, that's really cool.
In like the rock wall, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I heard about that story. And I mean, there's a lot that people are working on, but the one I'm most interested in is Woodsy, just like you. And I'm glad you got some of those hints, because I hope you're the one that goes out and gets it.
I mean, honestly, like I thought I was like onto something, and then like I spoke to you, and then I was like, crap, like I have no idea what I'm doing here. And then I went back and I found some really old maps with some stuff on it, and I'm like, oh my God. But then I reread everything and I look at the ciphers, and then I'm like looking at the words that like the stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna need to go up there a couple of times. And then I'm reading other people's experiences of going up there and how like they end up with flat tires and how you need a real 4x4. But if you rent a 4x4, they tell you can't take it off road. So the last thing you do is go up there and get a vehicle stuck and then not be able to call for a tow because you don't have cell phone service. So I'm freaking out in my head a little bit about it. And honestly, like I will go search for Woodsy Swamp, but it won't be until fall. I figure there's too much like foliage. Forest. I want things when they're dead, and when there's less chance of snakes coming out.
Oh my God, I was gonna say that. I've like read so many posts right now. Everyone's like, there's snakes everywhere, and I'm just like, nope. I don't care if you offer me $1 million. No. It's not happening. But I found articles about the area that I think it's in, and everyone's saying like, basically you need to be like in a plane and just do like an air jump into the area. Like if that would be easier than driving to it. I'm just like, that's not really me.
There's houses and cabins back there though. So somebody is back there. Like somebody can get back there. I mean, and maybe I need to find out who owns one of those cabins and then just be like, hey, yo, can I like Airbnb this thing for a week? And that way I can just spend a lot of time out there.
I think the area I was looking in though, I think it's more ghost town. I don't think there's any like actual houses around there.
There are definitely buildings. If you go like to where the old furnace is, I guess where the mansion was and like that part, whatever it was called, there are some cabins that are kind of close to it. Or buildings. I don't know what they are, but they definitely have roofs and they're not old. But most of it's all forestation. And then farther down, you know, I don't know, but there are, and then if you go really far down, then there's a farm at the base of the hill, the mountain. So
wait, are you telling me you're still over by the furnace area, Shannon?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I'm like, I thought I saved you.
There are like, okay, so like when you drive into that area, the place will tell you to park and to not go any farther. There are some like, it looks like there's buildings or cabins like within like a half a mile of there.
Okay, so there is civilization.
Well, I would not call it civilization. I would call it places. So they could be like, you know, one room shacks. They could have outhouses. I don't know, but it would be kind of cool if you could like rent one for like a week and then you could spend more time out there. And because it's like 3.5 hours from my house. It's not as far as going to Montana for me.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, it definitely sounds like it's a place where you're not going to walk in there and just pick up that cash. So, all right. So what do we got going over here in the chat?
Tony asked me something, but I don't understand. He says, I was just talking to Toby and he mentioned that something went not so well after it was over. Paraphrasing. I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about the secret?
After what was over to, You said his name's Tony because I can is Tony.
Uh-huh.
All right, Tony, like, what are you talking about? Yeah, he's like, he had to name drop to sound important. Funny. Yeah, Toby is the father of all hunts and chases now, apparently.
Yeah, so. he called me in the middle of like doing a live, talked me down. He's like, don't do it, Indy. And I'm like, okay.
I haven't talked to Toby or Shelly in a while. It's been a while.
About Mr. Beast. I don't think you can know much about Mr. Beast right now because I don't think there's anything updated. I could look, but I follow Mr. Beast religiously. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Beast is that thing that was 100K, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, there's new. Every time my alarm goes off in the morning, I flash. No, there's nothing like new updated. Because I follow him, and the last thing about the riddle. No, he said he was gonna let us know as soon as he can who the winner was, but right now they're verifying if they're the winner because I think you might be disqualified if you use script, which means everybody and their mother is disqualified. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Tony, but seems like everything is good on this end so far.
All right, so Minotaur Marino said he's been working on Fandango. He said one of the many problems I have with it is there are too many possibilities on how to start. What's your opinion on too many red herrings in a good hunt? Well, that's the frustrating part, isn't it? That's the frustrating thing is when you don't know where to start, you know. And I think that's one of the things that helps with the community is having communities like this to be able to talk through things, whether it's forums, Facebook groups. A lot of times they can help and help you down, or at least help you start. If you're late, so Candy just dropped us. Man,
sorry. I'm sorry. Are we okay? Are we good? Sorry.
Yeah.
Some water.
So Candy, I saw a petition going around for Fandango, like for an end date or something. Can you tell me about that? Because I know nothing about it. So tell me about it.
And Mike are the ones that did it. I think they're the ones that started it, but they're just trying to extend the cutoff date because I think the cutoff date is this year. That's November, and thanks to COVID and all these other things getting shut down, they're just seeing if they could actually extend it because it seems like nowadays there's a lot more people interested in Fandango versus back then. So they're trying to get people to sign the petition to tell the creator to actually not end it at this date and give them more time to solve it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That's good. Okay. Yeah, I saw that pop up on my Facebook feed and I didn't know what it was. And my problem is I work and then I'll look at Facebook for 5 seconds and then I go back to work, or I'm on a webinar and I'm just checking my notifications and things pop up and then I never remember to follow through with it. So, all right. Okay. So, how many people in here remember the Forest Fen hunt? Anybody remember that? I'm sure maybe a couple of you guys did. So I have not yet talked about like it being found in Wyoming. Does anybody have any opinions on that? Please tell me there's no haters in this room that doesn't actually believe that.
I was
huh?
I said I was Team Wyoming.
Well, my Warm Waters Haunts was in Wyoming. So I mean that counts, right?
I was telling Christy, I think it was on Amy 6 or something. I said I could see Fen totally just screwing with us and like having the chest at the border of Wyoming, but the entire solve was Montana. I could see him doing that.
I mean, that would be hilarious. Yeah. And actually looks like we have Joel Hunt, who is doing the cash game in here with us now. He'll be on later with us. And actually, Joel, if you wanted to go ahead and hop on the Zoom, you can feel free to go ahead and join us and talk with us as we talk through some of this stuff. So I'm just going to give you that option. No pressure, but feel free to go ahead and hop on. So, but yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of relieved that it wasn't found in the state that I was searching because that takes the pressure off of me. I know I wasn't close, but I mean, like, I got to know where Warm Waters halts. Like that just, I want to know it so bad because there were so many possibilities and everybody, I mean, there was like the most common one, which was probably Madison Junction, but then besides that one, everybody had some crazy, crazy, crazy ideas. So I don't know.
I had a book anagram haunt me for 7 years, so there's that.
Oh, that's right. Joel still got the kids, but he will be on later. So very excited to hear more about his stuff. Actually, Beth told me about that. And Beth, actually, her hunt just finished. She was doing, what was it? The Secret Copycat. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Nick almost had it. It was so funny. He was literally sending me like everything he had, and he had it right. And he sent Natalie's brother to the spot, and he could have went like, I'm not even kidding, like 5 feet, and he would have had it, but he like ended up turning around. No, it was so close.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Beth actually won first place on my treasure hunt. I call her like the puzzle master. Like she has won so many puzzles and treasure hunts, most of them being armchair ones, but she is incredible. She loves challenges, and she's put out a couple other ones too. And she is working on another hunt, and I might have some details on that. Let me see what she had sent over. Somewhere. Just give me a second.
I'm just afraid that when I release my treasure hunt, Randy's gonna like solve it in an hour or something. I'm trying really hard to make it like a decent type of solve, so it's not gonna be too hard for everyone, but it'll last a few months. So that's what I'm aiming for.
All right, so let's see here. Hold on. And she did post the solution. So if you guys were going along with her hunt and you're kind of curious as to what the solve was, it is posted, it is out there. And oh my gosh, did you know that she actually painted that watercolor herself?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I was like, oh my gosh, it is just gorgeous. So she actually has a degree in art. And so, I mean, I think it would be cool just to have that painting, honestly.
Yeah.
So when I asked her if she was working on another hunt, she says, yes, I have some great ideas for another hunt. I want to do, it's similar to the copycat, which means it'll be like the format of The Secret. A lot of people are familiar with The Secret, and it's an easy introductory type of hunt with no ciphers. I plan to have it ready before summer is over, which is kind of awesome because that's coming close. I guess officially that's less than 2 months away. The summer hunt will be free. I mean, the treasure hunt will be free. Look for it on the Art of Hidden Messages and on Jenny Kyle's Mysterious Writings forum. And she'll give us one hint. The treasure or proxy item will not be in her home state, which I believe she lives in Pennsylvania. So I wonder where she's traveling to. Interesting. All right, so who else we got going on here in the chat? Anything good?
Let's see. Randy said he's supposed to take a shot every time we say Forrest Fenn.
That is a great drinking game. Oh my gosh. I'm going to say that a lot, actually. So now, Forrest Fenn. That's 3 shots in, baby. Come on.
How about we drink every time someone says treasure or we say treasure? Because we're doing treasure hunt theme tonight for treasure hunt creators.
Candy, we got to be on here for at least another 3.5, if not 4.5 hours. Like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, the chat room they can do it. They can play a drinking game to us. I don't know if it's safe for us to do that. Oh my gosh.
It's treasure hunt 1,000 times.
You know, I will say, like, I've never been to Wyoming except for in Yellowstone National Park. I'm just going off of what Minotaur Marino was saying over here about most beautiful places. You know, I would say that there's a lot of pros. Like my husband, you know, has been trying to get like a carry permit in Maryland for a handgun, and like it's like virtually impossible because Maryland's so tough. But man, like Wyoming keeps looking better and better for its rules and laws and everything else. Like it seems to be the freest state in the United States. So I guess, honestly, it doesn't seem like it would be a bad place to hide a treasure, honestly. So, but yeah. What was that?
And California is the worst to hide treasure right now.
California is the worst for everything. Okay, you guys are running out of water. Your pollution is horrible. You have way too much high paid grade disparities. Like I don't know. Like I would not want to move to California. Like it just I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. But then again, like I have a lot of friends that live there, and they all love life. But I don't know. They're all hippies too. They live like communally and stuff. Okay, and they're not all hippies. Some of them do have jobs and work and stuff, but some of them are total hippies.
Well, I was trying to convince H to do a hunt out here or relatively close to here because I know it's all over by Pennsylvania and North Carolina, Maryland stuff. And now everyone's like, well, what about us over here? I'm like, well, I'll see if I can convince them after Gallows Harbor.
Now, where is H's home base at?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
That would make total sense why there's so many hunts that are based in Pennsylvania for him.
Right. And he lives at a place called Treasure Lake. How funny is that?
Oh my gosh, that is definitely hilarious.
The treasure man lives by treasure.
Tony asked if you ever looked at Jackson Hole. I'm assuming he's talking about in Wyoming.
I probably came across it a few times, but my love solve was the fire hole. Haunted by the fire hole. Everyone knows this.
It's a beautiful place. Beautiful place. Yeah, Joel, I love The Secret too. I think the only one that I've ever tried to dive into really hard on The Secret was the one that's in Florida, where they're supposedly like St. Augustine, Florida. Like that one, I was pretty confident on. But the problem is, again, you have to dig it up, and you know, like it's one of those places where you'd have to have a pretty convincing story to get somebody to let you like dig around there. So
I think Nick has a really good solve for San Francisco Secret because that's the one I worked on for a while because it's not too far from me. But his definitely involves jail time. So no, thank you.
Well, and I think some people actually have gotten arrested looking for the one in San Francisco. Like, I feel like the cops are pretty much on that location. So if you want to do anything there, you better get the authorities involved. You know,
Yeah.
and I just feel like the authorities just don't even believe it's like a thing, or like, you know, don't even want to bother with it anymore.
Yeah, sure.
Here.
I was really interested. I found this one treasure hunt that reminds me of The Secret. It was called like the Treasure Trove, and it was this guy who wrote a book about these fairy creatures and they lost their mates or something. So he created jewel encrusted animals and he left hints in the book for you to find them. And like the spider was like $250,000. And then like the other animals that were also Swarovski crystals and gems and stuff, they were all hidden throughout different national parks. Like it was so cool. And then the sequel he tried doing, the publisher ended up butting heads with them. So he had to sue him and they ended up going bankrupt. So the second one never got to be completed.
You know, it's funny you say that. I feel like I've read that and saw that one somewhere.
Yeah, in 2008 the creator died.
Okay.
But
I definitely feel like I've heard of that before.
It was beautiful. I love the first one. I was reading about the whole solution because Jenny Kyle has it on her mysterious writing site.
That's probably saw it then.
The sequel looked like it was going to be amazing because he had these special made rings to go with everything. And they were like a lot of money. I think it was like almost $1 million in like gold and jewels and stuff. But they ended up just having to scrap all of it. Someone should just do something like that again, just not make their publisher mad. Just saying.
Sorry, somebody just texted me something that made me laugh. Apparently, Candy, you're getting sexier as one of my friends is drinking. So, cheers.
Terrible and drunk goggles? Dear me. In my defense, I was in the.
They can't be that. They can't be. They can only. That's probably their first beer. But come on, it's hilarious. Okay. All right. Okay, I need to put that away. Let's see here. Okay, what else is in the chat? What else do we got going on?
Oh, I see Jack in the chat. What's up, Jack?
Minotaur, do you want to put money on it? On
Wait.
like where he's betting Friend's treasure was? I mean, we can put some money where your mouth is. Just joking. I don't like bets.
Jack had to send K-Pro a signed $2 bill because he did a bet with her.
And Jolie says, let's drink every time y'all say the.
He wants to see us on the floor.
I mean, you guys don't need an excuse to get drunk. You can just go ahead and get drunk.
I had this thing filled on St. Patrick's Day with beer when I first met Cynthia, like when I first talked to her, and I just like drank the whole thing. And I was like, I don't need a drinking game to drink.
All right, let's see here. Oh, my chat just like jumped.
Where are you at on a real finder versus F retriever? By the day I start to go more and more toward an F retrieve. I mean, I 100%, like every single time I say this, I feel like the chase was over on February 3rd of 2019, the day Fenn came out on Mysterious Writings and said he had a gut feeling the treasure would be found that summer. And the person who sent him that email, I believe that was the person who ended up being the person who found the treasure. 100%. So I feel like Fenn knew it was going to be ending. He just had to wait for that guy to go out there and retrieve it. I think the guy had everything else figured out, and all that was missing was him going out to identify the blaze or whatever the final clue was.
You know, that's a very good point. I think Fenn said the last time he had heard from him was 2018. So it's possible that he had, heard from him like in December of 2018. And then when Fenn made a public statement in February, he knew that guy was going to get it. And then maybe life happens. Maybe he wasn't able to go last summer. Maybe, money, family. I mean, things happen to keep people from doing it. Who knows? Or maybe he went out and maybe he just couldn't find it. And maybe he went out and tried it again. So, but I'm excited. I definitely think we're going to find out more. The question is how are we going to find out more? Is it going to be a documentary? Is it going to be a book? Are we going to have to pay or do like a GoFundMe? Like, I don't know how, but I feel we're going to find out more. I just don't know how quickly that is. And I don't know if we're going to, find out the whole thing, because depending on where it was found, you have the legalities that can go along with it and taxes and all the other crap. So it's a question, like, how much will we find out and how long? Like, do we have to 10 years when like, any IRS tax, like, stuff goes away? I don't know, but
Did you see Smell of Sunshine's nose video?
I have not watched like any of his videos.
I am such a fan of his videos. Like, I am telling my boyfriend I want to go to the Forest Fun meetup in September because Smell of Sunshine is going to be there. And he's just like, you're so weird. But I was watching his new one and he was going over how the photos of the release of the treasure being found, he had a guy, his life's work is actually identifying soil and the different types of like plants surrounding it. And the guy said he was like 99.9% sure that chest was buried, all because of the picture and how the soil was. And it looks like there was roots into the soil that grew. So they're basically saying that chest was buried. So if it was Yellowstone and it was buried, we're never going to get a solution, because that means Yellowstone can claim it as theirs and the finder would never get anything.
But here's the thing. So we did not see the chest, the top of the chest in that one picture, after it was retrieved, that first picture when it's on the ground, we do not see the top of that chest. So we don't know if it was covered in dirt or not. But I go back to my backyard. If I don't mow my lawn, if I don't weed whack, if I don't use weed killer, if I don't destroy nature will consume something so fast and easy. And that chest was out there for 10 years and it was 42 pounds. If I had a chest in the grass weighing 42 pounds between rain and snow and everything else, like, it's going to go down. Like, a heavy rain will make that chest sink. And I think just over time, and then you have the weeds that come, like I'm sure it was buried by nature, but I really doubt that you had to use a shovel. I mean, maybe you needed a shovel if it was that weighted into mud or, dirt, but I doubt Forrest Fenn dug a hole to put it in though.
I don't think he dug a hole. And I remember when I was doing a word, I did one video that it discussed about how he said the basically differentiating entombed from sepultured, like what they mean. And one of the said what leaves blew in there. And it made it seem like it was going to be either a crevice or something inside where leaves can go. It wasn't just going to be laying out in the open. So I think 100%, in my own opinion, I think it was behind a waterfall, but not just like any waterfall. I think it was a secret waterfall where there's a waterfall, and if you didn't know it, there's another waterfall behind that waterfall. And there's a few of those that exist in the park and outside of the park. Just saying.
All right. Well, Minotaur Marino speaks again. He wants to know, why give out the state for free? I mean, honestly,
that instantly just knocked that lawyer lady's claim right off the map, for one. Thank you. I'm not afraid to say it.
Oh God. Oh my gosh. The crazy lady. I mean,
don't say that. She will not stop haunting me. Right now, if you go on my YouTube channel, she harasses me 24/7 on my YouTube and will not leave me alone. Like today, she was saying more stuff, calling me a nitwit. She says I have the IQ of a peanut. And I'm like, well, this peanut has more followers than you, so thank you, whatever. But you cannot call her crazy because she will put you in a lawsuit. Like she was trying to screw with me in K-Pro, and she released my actual real legal name to everybody who wants to know it. So I am not a happy camper with that lady.
All right. Well, I do think that she's crazy. And I think other people who said that they found the treasure chest when they actually didn't, and they didn't physically have it in their possession, I think that they're a little crazy too. And it's okay because we're all a little crazy, right? Like I'm crazy. I know you're crazy. Like we're all crazy. I mean, like no human's completely normal. We're all crazy. But I mean, she's a special kind of crazy. If somebody saying that you found something, but you actually admit that you didn't find it, but you were waiting for Forrest to tell you that you found it. Like I don't get that. Like, but anyway, I digress. But yes, I mean, it takes away the lawsuits. It takes away a lot of stuff because everybody at this point, like I'm still getting solves emailed to me about where it was. And now they're all Wyoming solves. But these are people that sent me solves from New Mexico, like, a year or two ago. So, but now all the solves are from Wyoming. But it gets a lot of people to be like, oh yeah, just to move on. And I think that's very comforting. Now, all you poor people that had solves in Wyoming, now you guys are still hanging, but that's a whole lot less than, all of us. So.
Well, I'm not trying as hard as I used to try and figure it out. Like now that I have a state, and it was the main state I was like fixated on for 7 years, aside from jumping to Hebgen, because Marty is a very, very convincing person. I'm just like, you know what? It's cool. It was either in Yellowstone National Park with a fire hole, which I love to think it was, or it was somewhere outside of the park. I feel like either way, Wyoming is a win because when you read the book, it screams Wyoming to begin with. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, it screams that whole area up there. So yeah. So I'm just glad because I kept saying that I could not find, like my instincts just could not find a solve in New Mexico no matter how hard I tried. So I'm kind of happy about that because if it would have been found in New Mexico, like that would have been devastating. Like that just would have crushed me because I knew what I did, how hard I tried. I could not find anything that worked in New Mexico.
You never found the little church in New Mexico?
You mean like the one with the well that was like dried up, or like the dirt was sacred? That one? Whatever it was called. That doesn't fit.
Oh my God, are you serious? It was
like no, like how many people told me that, and I'm looking at them like,
no. What it could have been is that it was like I forgot the name of it, but it's a special time of the year. Every year, everyone who wants to go there to have healing, they have to start in Santa Fe and walk all the way to that church. and it's a whole article on it, and it says like it's not far but too far to walk in it. And I was like, oh my god, like I was freaking out. But obviously that's just, you know, a phrase like people use for lots of things. It was another book title. Ben is a mastermind evil genius, I will definitely admit to that. But there's some pieces of that I was like, oh my god, that could be it. How did he get over his cancer? People go there to cure their cancer. Like, there's just some pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I've had people tell me all of their confirmation biases around it. I get it, but I can't like
Slap in the face.
like the landscape. Like when I look at a satellite image and all I see is like dirt around a place, like to me, that's not where Fenn hid the treasure chest. You know, like that's not where it was.
Someone said that they said Fenn claimed that he wanted to go out into the desert and die. Like, did you ever see that quote? It was like way back in the day, and then it ended up getting fixed or something. And so Fenn was like, if you have a solve in the desert, like change your solve. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. It just feels like everything's just floating around. And I think Christy told us that Fenn said he no longer wanted to go to that special place now and die because there's just too much stuff going on. So I kind of feel bad. I kind of wish like we never even encroached upon this, because I feel like he should be able to go to that special place and just be there when he wants to be there. And we were like never going to give him that opportunity.
Well, I wonder when the last time he even went up to Montana and Wyoming was.
I think he said like a couple years ago. I think it was like 2017, 2016 or 2017.
Yeah, I'm trying to, because I know I've asked him that stuff before. I asked him like when the last, what is it? The Rendezvous up at the Cody Museum. What's it called? Something Rendezvous.
Oh, that's the proper thing here.
Yeah, so I remember asking him when the last year he went to that was. Like I remember asking him all kinds of questions, and most of the time he was like, why? I'm like, because it could be important.
If he could do anything in the world, what would he do? And he said he's something about how he wanted to be where the first trapper what was it? I think it was a rendezvous. The first trapper rendezvous happened. It was like the very, very first one where they got attacked by a coyote or wolf or something.
The Mountain Man?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, there was like another rendezvous, and I'd have to look through my notes. But like up at the Cody Museum, there were rendezvous, like, and they were fundraising and they were fashionable and they were like what's it called? Big fundraising events for the museum and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me see here.
It tastes like a smoothie.
I have so much. I you know what? I need to just go through and I need to delete my entire Forrest Fenn folder.
What? Why would you do that?
I should. I mean, I really should.
I've had people email me and tell me that they buy my journals, and I'm like, what? They're like, you should have everything that you worked on for your Fenn stuff just like published. I'm like, no. Like, you would not understand my chicken scratch to begin with.
All right, well, I'm giving up on this. Let's move on. Let's find something else worth talking about. Okay. Go back to the thing. Let me see here. I think we should have Johnny joining us at 7. So hopefully he will be on time.
Yeah, the topic tonight is basically talking about either current treasure hunts or up and coming treasure hunts. And we're having the creators of said treasure hunts come on to discuss them or about the upcoming releases of them. Jack.
And we're venting about Forrest Fenn. So everybody take a shot.
Yeah, every time Forrest Fenn. And how we're not crazy.
My goodness. Bobby D, like by doing that with My War for Me, see, that's just one of those things that people do to get confirmation bias, even though it works now that we know it works, but still, I would have been like, that's just confirmation bias stuff.
The one being right. No, I think there's leaves. I'm trying to like read the chat.
Yeah, so am I here. I'm like,
I mean, it'd be cool if it was Yellowstone, but if it's Yellowstone, we're never going to get the answer.
Dude, I don't want it to be in Yellowstone. I think that's the thing. Like, I didn't want it to be there because of legalities and stuff. And like that, I mean, yes, I want people to experience that place and go there, but I can't imagine it being there. I mean, even though if it was, that would be close to where like that was where myself started. So better that way. But Lander and Pinedale were rendezvous. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah, a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, like the fancy smancy ones where everybody has like the expensive clean cowboy outfits on, and you know, the expensive cowboy hats, fancy boots. Is Randy on tonight? No, Randy's not on tonight. Should Randy be on tonight?
Randy, do you want to come on and talk about Beacon Star? Mike will be like, oh my God, Randy's on. We're talking about you, sir. Which because there's qualities.
All right, so let's see here.
Oh, did Caper ever get back to you in regards to a time slot?
No, I didn't hear back from them. I sent them an email. I told them what times we still had open, and
I will reach out real fast because I know I called her right before I was talking to you, and she said she definitely wanted to do it.
All right, yeah, I told her the times we still had open, and then I told her she could always hop on like that 9 to 10 slot too, to harass you know who later.
Let's see. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Yeah, I just sent her a message, so we'll see if she responds. I know she said she was out doing some stuff for a bit. Okay. Oh, I could hear my gardeners finally showed up. I thought so too, but I guess they didn't get here until like 3:30 or something. So, let's see.
I wish I had oh wait, it's me.
Wait, what?
I said, oh, I wish I had a gardener. I'm like, oh wait, I do. It's me. All right, Johnny is here. We're going to admit him, and let's behave ourselves, Candy.
Wait, I always behave myself. What are you talking about?
Hello, Johnny. Are you there? I let him in.
You're gonna blame this on me too, aren't you?
Hello, Johnny. Can you hear us?
Hello there, good sir.
If you're there, we can't hear you. Testing. Can you hear us, Johnny?
I'm here. You here?
Oh, I can hear you now. Fabulous.
Perfect. Awesome.
All right, perfect. If you want to share your do video, you can, but we're not going to force you.
Here, is this right here? Hold on one sec. I don't know how to use this. I never used this before, so give me a sec. Start video.
That's okay. Technology is wonderful. And
I'm like a dinosaur with this stuff. There we go.
Yay, there you are. Welcome.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you this fabulous Friday evening?
I'm awesome. Tired.
Why are you tired? What were you doing today?
Yeah, we know it's been a long day. We have the hunt starting tomorrow. The first one. So we have a lot of questions, and we're just making sure everyone's in the right group and all that stuff. So.
All right, so Johnny, I'm going to pull up the web page here, but as I pull this up, because that'll take me a second, because well, I'm a little bit better with technology, but I'm not perfect with it. So why don't you tell us about Johnny's treasure quest?
Yeah, so I have buried treasure all over the state of Michigan. We selected, random places from the bottom to all the way to the top. Oh, there it is. I see it. And so, for example, tomorrow, which is August 1st, Saturday, when you purchase the ticket, we put you in this private Facebook group associated with the treasure quest. So, for example, the Oakland County one starts tomorrow. I buried 2 treasures in Oakland County, and so the very first one starts tomorrow. And so when you purchase a ticket, I put you in this private Facebook group, and I'm going to announce the clues at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So everyone in this group gets shout out the same clues at the same time. So the hunt's on, the race is on, the adventure begins.
All right, so hold on a second. You said you buried 2 treasures. So confirm that it is buried in the ground?
Correct. It's buried in the ground, waiting to be found.
All right.
Yes.
Did you bury it in areas that people can legally dig it up?
Yes. I mean, I believe so.
The only reason why I ask is like, are you familiar with the Forest Fen treasure hunt?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I know we've always had such controversy about whether it was or was not buried. So,
Right.
it was, were you allowed to dig it up where it was and stuff? So, all right. So, and I saw you buried then 2 silver bars.
Correct.
All right. And how much?
The first hunt, there's 2 100-ounce silver bars. And what the beauty of it is with Fen, you just had the riddle, but with mine, you have a riddle. And you'll know when you solve my riddle, because you'll find a literal X, painted X on the ground, which X always marks the spot. So I tell people, don't be digging up the town. If you don't see an X, don't dig. It's not going to be there. There'll always be an X. So that way people aren't destroying property, digging everywhere. It makes it a little more better.
That's actually pretty awesome. That's very smart. So you said it's painted on the ground. So is this paint that might wear off over time?
No, well, to go back a little bit, not every treasure is hidden per se. Most of them are in the ground. Some could be next to a tree, hanging from a tree, behind a rock. But this first particular one, I told everyone, is buried in the ground. It's a literal wooden X that I painted.
Okay.
I painted the actual X and used that as the marking.
All right. That is actually really awesome. So how much does it cost to join your hunt?
Well, they can be anywhere from $49 on up. The treasures are more valuable. Like, for example, the Mackinac County treasure, I put 7 gold coins in the ground. There's like $14,000 worth of treasure there.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
So
and we do mini quests too, which we have a main Facebook group for everyone. Anyone who loves treasure hunting can join. It's our main Johnny's Treasure Facebook group. So you can join there, and a lot of times they'll do contests, giveaways. We're always giving away free tickets, and then sometimes we have these mini quests. Like every county that we bury treasure, we also have a free mini quest where I'll scatter, for example, like silver all over a particular area in that county, and I'll announce it on Facebook, and everyone comes out and they're able to search for real coins, like a few $1,000s worth of coins, with their kids, with their boyfriends, girlfriends, and it's like a scavenger hunt, Easter egg style thing. It's just a real fun day for people to participate in, and people really enjoy that. We have tons of fun meeting people, and we get their pictures, and it's a blast. We're all like a treasure family, so it's really cool getting to know each other.
So how long have you been doing these like treasure hunts and stuff for?
How long?
Mm-hmm.
This is the very first one. So, geez, how long has it been? A few weeks, a couple weeks.
All right.
Since we announced it.
So why? How did you get this started? Why are you like putting this money out there? Like, tell me how it all came to be.
Yeah, well, during the lockdown, the first lockdown, that changed everything for me. I realized I wasn't happy with doing what I was doing, and as I tell people, although I was like, for over the years, been super blessed by all our customers at my jewelry store. Over the years, I just, being on lockdown and getting out there and adventuring with my wife and discovering what Michigan had. I didn't really know how cool Michigan was. It's really cool. But so it just changed my whole perception, whole outlook on life. And I knew there was something else out there for me, you know. And then, you know, one morning I was here at home and I was pacing back and forth. I was so bored here. I was going nuts, you know. I even, you know, ripped apart the backyard and put in a garden, whatever I could do that I could find my time, you know. And so I was reading about the Fen discovery, um, that someone discovered his treasure, and it's something I totally always wanted to go look for. And I was super bummed, and I never had the time, but I'm like, look, that's all I got now is time on my hands, right? I'm locked down. I can't go to work. I can't do anything. So, you know, we just started talking to my wife. I'm like, isn't that so cool? Do you believe that? You know, and she's like, yeah, that's really cool. Really cool. And I was over at we had to go to my shop and take care of some last minute things over there. I had to put signs up saying it was early in the lockdown, you know. And I'm like, open my safe, I remember, and I was looking in the safe. I said, Amy, I'm like, dude, no, you know, check this out. What if we like go and hide all this in Michigan? We were joking around about it. She's like, you know what, we should, because we're, you know, we're known for being a little off the wall crazy anyway, you know. Um, so that's what we did, and she threw up a website, and you know, we were just a little family. You know, it was the best. You know, we had a buddy call me too from South Carolina, and he said he felt led in his heart that that I needed his help about something. It was the most strangest thing, you know. And so he came out here, and on his way, he called me. I said, I have the greatest thing to tell you. This is what I'm gonna do. I know you're gonna think I'm nuts, but this is what I'm doing. He's like, I already know. You know, I felt it. That's why I'm coming. You know, I've just been truly blessed by my family and all the people I have surrounding me. That's doing this. You know, I mean, it just seems so. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say divine, but I don't know.
No, Johnny, but I'll tell you what, like, I love your
Mm.
energy and your passion. Like, whatever you have going on, like, I can feel it. Like, I can literally feel like your excitement, and you're just like, maybe
Yeah.
it is divine because, like, I can definitely feel something from you, and I think it's totally awesome. So, like, you
Well,
definitely have
thank you.
a happy spirit. Like, I can just like the aura, everything is going is great. So, I mean, that's exciting. So is you said it was like a cost to join like this Facebook group, get the clues and everything. So is there like a maximum number of people that can sign up for it, or is it unlimited?
Yeah, we try to keep a limit on the treasure. You know, as much as we have so many people want to get out there and get a ticket, we got to limit it. You know, we don't want to have this too big where everyone's thousands of people are stomping all over each other and stuff. But yeah, we know we also don't want to deprive anyone of a ticket either. So it was a really just tough decision to make. So depending on the group, by the treasure size and all that, we consider that, but it's we keep a limit. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. So let's see here. Candy, do you have any questions for Johnny?
Yeah, I have so many. I just don't want to interrupt.
How you doing?
Sip of my drink. I'll be quiet. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I was excited to hear you guys talk. First off, in regards to your first treasure hunt launching tomorrow, which is super exciting. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How do you expect this one to be found or solved?
Well, you know, we're super excited, and at the same time we're like trying to, because everyone's always asking us like all these questions like, how long do you think it's going to take to find the first treasure and this and that. So I don't know, it's our first one, so tomorrow's going to really help us gauge future quests of how it's all going to work out. So I write the riddles myself, so
Oh.
I, depending on how good of a riddler I am, I guess we'll find out, right?
Well, do you have anything that it's the historical? Obviously, it's going to be probably about Michigan, correct? So is the story the history about Michigan, or is it more about like a story about you and your family? Like, what's the type of theme for it?
Yeah, well, a lot of them, well, the earlier ones are more places that I've grown up around Oakland and Macomb County my whole life. I graduated from Rochester Adams High School in '96, and so yeah, and a couple of the spots are places in my childhood, you know, and then but the majority is places where my wife and I traveled or romantic spots that we selected. So yeah,
So
and it's really tough. It was really tough to decide. I'm sorry, what's up?
I was gonna say, so they have the advantage. They know.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, I am a puzzle maker myself, so I definitely have a lot of respect for you writing your riddles. I know it's really hard. How long did
Yeah.
it take the first riddle?
I would like I wrote a one early on and then I tweaked it a few times because I didn't expect this to get so big, you know.
Yeah.
So I tweaked a couple of them.
So did
Yeah.
you try and ask, your wife or anyone who's around, like, what do you think this leads to see
Yeah.
if it was?
Yeah, I'll read it out and they're just like, well, that's awesome. That's good, you know. I'm like, is it too easy? I don't know, you know? So it's really, you know, it's exciting, but it's scary. It's like, I just think people are gonna be like, you're a dummy, man. This was so easy. This wasn't even fun, you know, or oh wow, this is awesome, dude. I can't believe this, you know. So I
No,
don't know what to expect.
great. Like the fact that you decided to do something like this for your community, that's huge. And secondly, you're just having fun with it. So as long as you know you're having fun and everyone else searching for it's having fun, that's all that should matter to begin with.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing, you know, trying to give hope and adventure to people who during this time, you know, it's been nasty years, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what we're all about is giving back, giving people hope and something to believe in again, you know, because it's bonding people, the comments, the encouragement, the emails I'm getting from people. It's like really, really heartfelt stuff. And we have an awesome group of people um that are part of this, man. It's like we're all part of this, you know. It's a treasure family. They're really awesome people.
That's really
Super,
cool.
super happy. Yeah.
Well, I'm also curious, how many people do you think are going to go looking for the first treasure tomorrow?
Um, well, we kept the limit at 500, so I expect there's if people bring their kids or a boyfriend or a partner, hunting partner,
Hmm.
so each ticket we tell people, you can bring someone with you, um, but so I don't know what to say. If someone brings, six people or someone just brings one person, I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you.
It's just going to be a whole dust cloud coming your way.
I know it's gonna be crazy, man.
That's going to be really exciting, though. I know this is
Yeah.
definitely the attention to a lot of people, especially after the first one is found. More people are talking. So, I mean, are you ready for how big this is going to get? Because right now, you weren't even expecting it to be this big. It's definitely
Right. Yeah, well, the cool thing is I have I've been in contact with all types of people interested in wanting to, be involved in this, like from camera crews to all this. So I've met a couple really nice people who would like to follow some of the people searching for the treasure around and video them.
Oh, that's
Just
cool.
to give some entertainment for the people who couldn't make it out. It's people who are at home who wish they could have been, but you know,
I
uh,
wish I actually met someone on Facebook yesterday in one of my group chats. I found out she was Michigan, and I'm like, "You could be my inside girl." And she's like, "What are you talking about your treasure?" It's like, someone actually is burying treasure in Michigan. I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." And she's like, "I don't know anybody. Sorry."
uh,
So I'm like, "Okay,
that's
I'll wait."
funny. Yeah. Yeah, I'm super that's funny. And I'm super nervous too, and I keep checking. Like we have advanced GPS trackers, and I'm with us real sensitive pressure motions.
Mhm.
So I'm always checking, like, oh my god, I hope it's not getting moved before the quest starts. Someone's not finding it or stumbling upon it. So it creates a lot of anxiety, but I
Wait,
got to stop looking at it. But
did you say that you like when you buried it, you actually have GPS trackers, so like if it moves, you know it?
yes,
Oh my God,
correct.
you're taking like all this to the next level. And then also I saw you have a disclosure on your website. So if you participate in this, like you are saying that you're okay with this disclosure, which I mean protects you legally in so many ways, which is I mean, you're taking treasure hunting above and beyond. So that's awesome. So wow.
Yeah, if you got,
GPS like a disclosure, like this is just incredible. So
thought of
Yeah.
everything.
Well, it wasn't even supposed to be like any type of business. Like beyond the legalities of it, could not live with myself if something happened to someone got real hurt. I know with the Forest Fen Treasure, a couple people, died because of it, and that was really terrible to read about. So I try to make them, when I selected the locations, we want it to be more family, a family activity. I mean, there's gonna be a couple ones that are gonna be around, geared towards adults, but we wanted most of them to be family activities. You could take your kids along, you could take your boyfriend, girlfriend, anyone along and do this. I wanted everyone to be able to get involved in this. You know what I'm saying?
Now, have you
So,
ever went to hunt for any other treasures yourself?
oh yeah, I have a metal detector, several of them. I love to metal detect and go through all the lost treasures of Michigan that are still waiting to be discovered. There's these old books that people say, oh, you might want to investigate this. I was telling a story in the group. One time I went with a buddy to go look for a treasure in Upper Peninsula. And long story short, we came out and we were covered with ticks from head to toe, and they were burrowing in. And we're like, oh my God, freaking out. We're ripping our clothes off, jumping in the water. It was horrifying, but it was fun as the memory.
Like that happened to me and my husband. We went to look for Forest Fen's treasure. Like as actually the place where he proposed to me, on the side of a mountain in Montana overlooking the mountain.
Sweet.
Apparently though, it was like tick central. We went there twice, and both times he was covered in ticks after each time. It was hilarious. And
oh man,
he was like get him off, get him off, get him off, get him off. Oh God, it was. Bugs love him though. I mean, the bugs just love him. But it was great memories. Great memories.
Yeah, they're nasty. Ticks are nasty, man, aren't they?
They are literally bloodsuckers. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see here. So what was your initial reaction when your hunt was posted all over the internet and major news websites?
I thought it was super cool. I'm like, wow, this is cool. They're coming to do a story, they were really excited about it. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, and it's just one thing after another. More people are interested, and it's like, they're encouraging us to do this. They like us, like this, no one doesn't seem to be not wanting us to do this. And man, it just got out of control. We had hundreds of emails, like every hour we had to answer, and we were working day and night around the clock, just literally around the clock, and it was insane. It was insane. It just kept getting bigger.
Now, is your jewelry store still open?
No, I mean, it's by appointment. I still have customers stuff there that some people had stuff there for 15 years. I haven't seen them for in the envelope. I'm like, come on, pick up your stuff. I don't want to be responsible for this. So yeah.
All right. Well, John, the chat room definitely loves your energy and says thank you for putting all that positive energy out there into the world. I think now we need that as much as we can possibly get. So, like I said, you can definitely feel your energy, and it's infectious. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
One more question though. I'm dying to know. Out of all the things that you buried, what do you think is your favorite item that you buried?
It's really tough to let go of the gold coins. I got a lot of spots with gold coins. I just love gold coins, 1 ounce coins, stuff like that. Just to hold them and look at them, it's just so juicy. You're just like, But it's not about money. We don't care. It's all about investing in people, and that's all that matters. In the end.
That's very true. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of people are going to be super excited. I mean, if I lived in Michigan, I would be one of those people just waiting for it to strike like 7 a.m. I'd be out the door, ready to go. But I can't wait. I hope a lot of people are going to live stream it tomorrow so I can follow, see how it goes.
Me too.
I think it's going to be awesome.
And I'm super stoked. Yeah.
What time do the clues hit the Facebook group?
10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me. So 10 a.m. sharp. I'm gonna release the clues, so everyone in that group is all gonna see them, and then it's gonna be on, you know.
All right. So peeps, if you are in the Michigan area, or you can get there overnight, there is, pulling up your webpage now. Again, it is johnnystreasurequest.com. You can go there and you can start your next quest. So, and then the first one launches tomorrow. So go there, check it out. Johnny, thank you so much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. Your hunt's cool and all, but like I said, your energy has just been amazing. So
thank you, ladies,
for coming on and chatting with us. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. It was likewise, I had a good time talking with you, ladies.
All right, awesome. Well, cheers and happy Friday night. Here's to a successful launch tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one. Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right.
Let's see. I just shut the search.
There should be like an
Okay.
X or a leave. If you see like a leave in your bottom right-hand corner, typically that's where
Oh,
it is.
there it is. I see it. All right, ladies. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Take care. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Did it leave this baby?
No.
There we go. All right. So, oh my God, his energy was like amazing. Like
I
he's
think
so happy, and lovely.
I honestly, I need to make more friends in Michigan because I just want to be a part of it now.
I don't know. For some reason, I had a feeling of like Christmas when he was talking about it. It was, I don't know. Like it was just like he had good positive energy. I love that.
Yeah, it's like a little piece of the thrill of the chase came back for us.
Yeah. What I loved about him was he is dotting his I's and crossing his T's and making sure that there's no crazy lawyers going to sue him later. And I think that is like amazing. So like disclosure, you have to buy into it, and that's kind of funny. A lot of people don't want to invest that kind of money, but honestly, I pay money every time I go to an escape room. I love escape rooms. Yeah, and like me, my husband, my kid, we'll pay $100 to go to an escape room one night. So I guess $50 for a family to go out search for a trust, this hunt. That's not a bad investment. We used to spend more at bars on a Friday night. And we're not spending money at bars anymore. So I guess, it's not a lot to ask for a hunt these days. I guess in reality, if it gets you outside into nature, gives you something to do, since we can't do the things that we are normally used to because of COVID. I guess when you put it in perspective, it's not actually that much money, is it?
I wish California would have something like this. I'm going crazy.
Well, why don't you create something, Candy? You're right there.
A jewelry store.
Oh my God. Okay. So remember my friend that said like the more he was drinking, the better sexier you were getting? He just texted me and he said the dude was pretty handsome also. He's like, just to show that I'm not sexist.
That is great. That's funny.
Oh my God.
I'm curious to see how big his hunt's gonna get, because right now this is just like the first one or two that are getting released, and then
here let me share the website again. So it looks like they're starting the first one tomorrow. Try to move everything around my screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the treasure page.
It's gonna be cold. Oh, good Lord.
Hi, boyfriend.
Oh, does anybody want to see my boyfriend? Oh, he's
boyfriend. Where's the boyfriends? Hi, boyfriend's backside. Bye.
He ran away. He's having his best friend come over to do some party, and I'm like, why would you do that? It's cold at night. And he's like, no. I'm like, okay.
It's like 112 degrees a day. How cold does it get at night?
I don't know. I'm a princess to begin with, so I like prefer kind of like lukewarm water sometimes. Like right now, the pool felt amazing. It was just the right temperature where you could cool down and not feel like you're just dying of desert heat. But around, I want to say 5 o'clock, we get like a serious wind. So anytime you move, it's just like everything's cold. So I don't really like that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, here is his website. So here we have Oakland County, Michigan Treasure Quest 1 launches tomorrow. And excuse me while I run a spreadsheet. And then on August 15th launches another one. This is a total of 200 ounces of silver. Then another one launches August 30th, and that one looks like it has like I see like a pendant. I see a few rings.
I like the rings. I saw one he put, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, got some stuff going on. And then if you go up to start your next quest, it looks like they have a couple plans. So,
what's that one? It says that one's gonna be around like 7,000.
This is the Newaygo County, Michigan. That one
it actually tells you where.
It's the county. It tells you what county.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I thought we were just gonna have Michigan to play with. He actually narrows it down even further.
Yeah. So I mean, like I mean, this is one of those things where maybe this is like a weekend getaway kind of thing. If they're launching them on Saturdays, like you could literally like travel there on a Friday night, like go in a hotel, first thing the next morning, like look at your Facebook page, and then go.
Shannon, let's team up. Let's team up for the $7,000 one or the gold coins. Let's like get on the plane and just go.
We will meet there. But listen, I'm gonna run to the bathroom right before AJ comes on, so because he should be here within the next 5 minutes. So
you're leaving me to entertain the chat?
Yes, I need you to keep an eye on everybody and make sure everybody's behaving themselves. Okay, I will be right back.
Okay.
K-Pro's in the house.
I was gonna say that. I'm like, I see K-Pro. They said they don't know if it's gonna be time though for me to go. Okay, you guys are stuck with me. Shannon actually trusts me with you guys. Oh, little does she know. Okay, hey K-Pro. I mean, if you and Mike want to come on and just talk for a bit, you don't have to like disclose many details. I mean, because I was talking about the hunt I'm in the process of creating. Obviously, I don't have much to release either. All I did was release what the book title was going to be. I was actually working on releasing the book title today, but my illustrator has not gotten back to me yet. She's in trouble. But also I'm trying to work with Natalie too. We're trying to do a collaboration, so we'll see how that goes. So either it's gonna be with my friend Amanda or it's gonna be with Natalie, which I'm sure a lot of you would really like that because I mean Natalie's illustrations are to die for. Send Mike the Zoom. Oh, okay. Shannon, can we send Mike the Zoom link?
I did. I sent it to Calazar's, but I can send it again.
Pretty please. K-Pro was asking.
If I can figure out how. Let's see here.
I'm still shocked. My boyfriend's going swimming without me. I can never get him to swim. Let's see. Mike is going to do a grand adventure. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. I wonder what it's going to be themed this time. Let's see. I mean, I wanted to participate in the other two they did, but I already own Chaseopoly. So, and my boyfriend will not stop playing it. So I don't need another Chaseopoly.
Oh, somebody's here. I hear the doorbell. All right, who's here?
Oh, my nose. Yeah, burnt on my nose.
Here.
Hello.
Gotta give him a second. And K-Pro, Cal, I sent you guys the Zoom. So you guys should have it. If you don't, check your spam folders. AJ, can you hear us? Can you hear us now? And we can see you. Hi.
I pushed the right button.
Hello.
Hello.
Good job. Welcome. How are you this fine Friday?
Oh, I am fine. How is everybody doing tonight? How many drinks in?
I finished my first one, and I'm
okay.
Slow. I mean, this is a long show. I mean, I hear stories that Candy gets people tipsy. So
it's more a matter. I just didn't realize that functioning alcoholism was a requirement to be a treasure hunter. This is something that was new to me, but apparently
that's all.
All right. So AJ, I know nothing about you. Like, so tell us a little bit about yourself. How about we start there?
You don't know anything about me.
Not
I'm
really.
famous. I'm on YouTube.
I tried to
I like to say I'm to all my friends is like, oh, you're on YouTube. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. No, I work on armchair treasure hunts, and I say I'm that first, and I'm a treasure hunt creator second, I'd say.
Okay.
I have a show every Monday called Priddle Monday, where we work on puzzles and riddles to get better at armchair treasure hunts. And K-Pro is here. Nice.
K-Pro totally had to come visit. Yay, K-Pro's here.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I didn't know ET was coming on. I thought it was a little bit before I can drop off and come back later. Mike can talk about his grand adventure. He has a new grand adventure coming up.
Ooh,
Good.
well, let's start off with just hearing AJ stuff. You can stay here. You can definitely join at any time.
Okay.
Let's talk about what AJ's got going on.
Okay, well, first of all, hi Bobby D. He's saying hi in the chat, so I'll just give him a shout out. Hello, Bobby D. Yeah, I'm a armchair treasure hunter first, treasure hunter creator second, and I think the treasure hunt, in order to get better at armchair treasure hunts, not only do I like to do puzzles and riddles, but I think creating them also makes you better at armchair treasure hunts. You sort of learn like, okay, how do you hide clues? How do you make it so that when you make a treasure hunt, it's doable to finish? Because it's so easy to make an easy treasure hunt. I can say, how many dwarves are friends with Snow White? I could say something like that. It's like, oh, that's easy. Then I could also say, how many coins are in my pocket right now? And there's no way for anybody to know any of that. So making a treasure hunt, to me, it seems like it's like a tightrope where you have to make it where it's not too difficult. It's not too easy. And as a creator, you're trying to make something that you're going to fail. Because you want people to succeed. So you're not trying to beat everybody. You're trying to make something that everybody can finish. And so there's certain things that you have to look for. And this is what I look for when I do armchair treasure hunts. It's Bobby D thinks there's six dwarves. So apparently he's not so into the Disney stuff, I guess. But what we're looking for is something that is fun, because this is what we look for when I do puzzles and riddles, because they're fun. When you figure something out, we're looking for those aha moments. So then on this other side, I'm trying to figure out, how do I make an aha moment for someone else to get? You want something that once they figure it out, it's like, oh, wow, that's great. Because we get that on my show all the time with the riddles, where we're trying to figure out a riddle. It's like, oh, what are they thinking here? Because there's usually a little bit of wordplay or something in there. And once you figure it out, it's like, wow, that's great. And so
AJ, don't you think fun's relative? Like Mike and I had a pretty heated debate earlier today about ciphers and advanced codes are fun. And I'm like, no, they're not. And we're trying to get the largest base of people that would have fun. So what's your thoughts? And I know Shannon's done some of his grand adventures that are fun. So I'm just curious on your thoughts on techniques, like ciphers versus imagery versus riddles. And your stuff's great on Monday because you can see how everybody thinks differently, and that some people solve it like that. And so anyway, thoughts?
Yeah, my show, that we do a lot of sort of things that are quick and easy, because there's a lot of the things that are cipher based where you need to decode it somehow, or you got to take a piece of paper and turn the wheel around. I'll say turn the wheel, but that doesn't quite work on my YouTube show, because when I'm working live, I just want to say, okay, what is it? What's the answer? We've got to figure it out. I also avoid the math ones, only because I don't want people to start having to open something up and then put the YouTube show down and try to pick it up. It's like, all right, let me get this paper and let me write down what the answer is in the math. So your answer was what is fun? Well, it is for some people, ciphers are fun. I'll admit I'm not one of those people either. But
they're only fun if I can figure out which cipher to use.
Okay. So now that I'll admit, and I've seen this in some of the mysterious writings where they'll show images. And
damn her, Jenny Kyle. Love her. But she can be so frustrating with those ciphers.
Out of every 100 hunters, do you think 50% love love ciphers.
I
See, I
don't
think
know.
it's around 10 to 20, but I don't know.
We're
would-
on the
20 to 25. I mean, I think it depends on how easy the cipher is, because there are common ciphers, and then there are the ones that you're like, where in the world did they get this from?
Yeah.
Here's the-
Well, we call them name ciphers versus non-name ciphers. Like if you get the 4 corners, that's officially a cipher, but it's not an advanced named one. When he's like, oh, that's a such and such cipher. And if you look in Jenny Kyle's book, and I'm like, I wouldn't have even have known where to start. But like 4 corners, you take each of the letters of the 4 corners of a page and it makes a word. And that's, oh, that one's, I get my aha.
That's
a
not
cipher.
that's not a code.
Oh, it's such a cipher. It's such an advanced cipher for me. It's an advanced cipher.
No, but I think just figuring out, as Shannon was saying, to figure out that there is a cipher. And I'm going to mention one of the mysterious writings ones was that there was a picture and it had these trees that were very narrow trees, and they had trees that were 2 different heights. And there was some code with this row of trees in that. If you just saw that, it would have been just a row of trees, but there was a code that was hidden in there. And I think that's kind of interesting. So then once you recognize the code and then, okay, well, then you're just plugging it in and then you're figuring out. That's just kind of the remedial part of it. It's the aha moment, figure out, oh, you know what? Those 2 tree heights, that could be an A, B, something of a code.
Or like a Morse code, or yeah.
Or Morse code. There's all kinds of codes.
Yeah, like
And
in the chat just said what we love about ciphers is the confirmation, and it's so true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And confirmation that you're on the right path is, I think, what makes a good treasure hunt.
Yes.
Because you know you're on the right path and you say, oh, that's got to be it.
Oh, that's a such and such cipher. And if you look in Jenny, oh, Mike, you got to turn yours down. I wouldn't have even.
I have 2 papers.
Like 4 corners.
How did that happen?
What do you feel like though about ciphers that are actually red herring ciphers?
Okay, yeah, she's not a fan. She's not a fan of red herrings, and I understand that, but it's
funny because, like, for instance, Woodsy Swamp for H, I had a sneaking suspicion that dim Finier cipher was a red herring, and it took all the way to this year for him to finally come out and say, yeah, it was red herring. You don't really need it to hit this. And I'm just like, I could have had a month of my life back if I didn't spend time on it.
I'll remember in Masquerade, there was something that you translated out of a code, and the answer was red herring. So if you are going to do red herring, you'd like to know, then you know.
Well, if we love the aha moment, and the aha moment is the confirmation, if you have a perfect anagram that gives you a hint that means nothing except for wasted time in your life you'll never get back, you take the aha moment away, that makes you a bad treasure hunting originator. Mike and I have had maybe a debate on this just today. That's why we were going to come on today, and we are not agreeing on a lot of things yet, so we cannot get, and Mike's so excited.
See, I'm not even going to wait for Mike to respond, because I'm going to answer it for him. I think anagrams are actually kind of difficult to do right in a treasure hunt, because let's say you translate a code, you're looking at, once you get, let's say you change it into a word. If it doesn't come up to a word, you're going to take that, you're going to throw it, like, well, that's not right. It's like, oh, you're only supposed to anagram those letters to get a new word. No, that's too many steps. Where if someone, is going through the steps, they want to see that, oh, okay, I've got the right thing. I've got a real word. But if they get a jumble letters, it's like, okay, well, I guess that's wrong. I'll throw it away. Let me start all over again.
So your perfect treasure hunt is confirmation along the way, no red herrings, no ciphers and codes.
No, I'm actually okay with ciphers and codes if it's done correctly.
Yeah, ciphers and codes are okay. Red herrings are okay as long as you didn't waste like your entire lifetime trying to figure that out. That's okay.
300-page book, okay?
No.
I'm okay with a book.
A 300-page book?
I don't know, but I've loved Calazar's Grand Adventures. I mean, yeah, some of them are hard, but that's why there's a community. Like when you get stuck on one and you start telling people like, hey, I have this, if you have that, like, and you start working together. Like, I mean, I think most of this treasure hunting stuff for me is the community. Like it really is.
Yeah.
So AJ, are you working on any, like, do you have any big hunts or big treasure things? Like, I want to know more about you. Like what else you have? Like you I have a YouTube channel, and you do this every week. But I
have
like
a YouTube-
bigger
yes.
and mastermind, like crazy.
No. I'm trying to get better at it, so that's why I have to do shows to make myself get better at it. And it's interesting. I'm going after the guy who's hiding treasure, jewelry all over Michigan, and my treasure hunt is for a searcher medallion. So I feel like I'm a little bit of a step down of the other guy.
Searcher medallion's more valuable in my opinion.
Start,
To me.
start. You got to start somewhere.
Yes.
But AJ, being one of the originals, I think in your shows that you did week to week, you're up to like 20, 25. I mean, there is a solid group in there every week, plus new people that I don't know if new people. I was out for about a month, but I'm back in and I'm seeing brand new names. So, I mean, you're really like, you're growing. It's really becoming something more and more.
I'm part of the community. I've watched more Cal Lazar's, more AGK live streams than I've worked on treasure hunts. There was a time where I was on the road, particularly in Texas, and I'm exhausted. I don't want to do any more thinking. I've been sweating outside all day. I can just flip on the live stream and I can go chat to people. Oh, where do you think warm water's halt now? I was like, oh, that's interesting. Even though wasn't working on them, I was still the interested observer. I know Kate Pro think that's hilarious that I'm watching all these things, but I like to consider myself I'm part of our little community of people.
Oh, you totally are. Oh, every time I just drove cross country, I would say, everybody, it's a bridge. And we would think of you. We'd be like, AJ, we're going over the bridge.
Bridge.
So, yeah, every time we went over a bridge, we took a picture of a couple and my kids wanted me to email it to you. I said, okay, we won't bug them, but there's a couple bridges. Whew, I was a little scared of going over, but anyway.
So maybe you haven't seen my name, Shannon, but I'm a kind of a big deal, as I was saying before.
So like I've seen your name, but it doesn't mean I know a lot about you.
That's fine.
You have to realize like I have kind of stayed off YouTube for like when it comes to like the Forest Fen like community and the treasure hunts. I've been out of it for a good 6, 8, 10 months now. I get a little bit here and there, but honestly I needed to step back from the Forest Fen because I wasn't feeling it in my gut anymore. Like I almost felt like the letdown was coming. I guess maybe I foresaw it. I don't know. But my passion wasn't there. And then COVID hit. And then I just wanted to like go to my garden and never leave.
That's perfectly fine.
But I want to get back. Like I said, I started doing like one of H's hunts for one of the caches there and love it. I mean, apparently I don't know what the heck I'm doing with it, but it doesn't mean I don't want to try.
It's okay.
And so like H's definitely seem frustrating. Like there's a whole lot there and it's like, what do you pull out of it? Like I can't find no confirmation at all. So I'm just going down the Forest Fen tube, just in a different person and different things. So
I live in West Virginia, not too far from you. You're in Maryland somewhere from what I've heard. I don't know where you are, but
I'm in Central Maryland. So
Central Maryland. I'm on the eastern panhandle of West Virginia.
Oh, you're the Panhandle?
I'm in the Panhandle.
Oh, so are you close to like Martinsburg?
I live in Martinsburg. Yes.
Okay. You're about like an hour and 15 minutes from me, actually.
Okay. But I've worked on the Rogue Miners cache, which is the H. Charles Beale one in West Virginia, because there's a beautiful bridge. It's a beautiful area. I've gone there a couple times looking for that one. I have not found it, but I'm hoping one of these times I'll be able to make that one. So I'm a armchair treasure hunter that has done some boots on the ground on the East Coast.
All right. Awesome.
Let's see. So I wanted to keep talking about how to make armchair treasure hunts because I think this is kind of the interesting part. I haven't even gotten to we can get to mine, but is there somebody coming up at like 8 o'clock? Am I taking up someone else's time?
I don't think we have anybody else till 8:30.
Okay.
I can double check here real fast. I think we had a gap after you. Yep. The next one isn't until Joel and he'll be on at 8:30. He said he might get on earlier once he puts his kids to bed. So yeah, you are good. You can talk all you want and fill up that extra 30-minute gap. Go, AJ, go.
Great, because that's I love to talk. My goodness, I'm the anti K Pro, but that's okay.
At the World Series of Fen, when he came up in the cow costume, I was like, "That's a quiet guy for the last 2 days."
Wait, you're the cow guy, really?
That's me. Yeah.
Where are all those books back there, AJ? Is that all research for your treasure?
No, this is a new wife is moving in, and all of her stuff is now in this house. So
A new wife, like you have more than one moving in.
A new one.
The new wife.
yeah,
The.
new brand new wife.
Ah.
It's not even not
Nah,
even tarnished or anything. and-
You know,
you don't have time to make a treasure hunt. What are you doing?
So there's a lot of stuff got moved over, and so yes, this is going to go on a bookshelf or stored. But right now, it's just filling up my office here right now. But yeah, so working on armchair treasure hunts, I'm trying to get better at figuring them out. And I think one of those ways to do it is not only puzzles and riddles on my show, but to make your own armchair treasure hunt. And I invite anybody else in the chat to also make your own treasure hunt, because then you can figure out how difficult it is to take sort of clues, like if you pick a location and then trying to figure out clues to get people to that location, you can see in as a creator how difficult it is. This is not something simple. It's a different kind of brain power, because what's drawn me to the armchair treasure hunt is those aha moments. You're trying to take two things, make a connection, and to do the reverse is difficult too. It's more difficult to me, because you're trying to make something so that they will be aha moments, and trying to take something, not make it too difficult, not make it too hard. And I was actually going to bring up one of Calazar's grand adventures that I did for him last year, if that's okay.
you're muted, babe.
Yeah, that's fine. Of course.
All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this.
Is it an old one, like one of the older ones?
Yeah, one of the older ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Pre-K Pro.
There we go. Was this pre-K Pro?
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe it was. I don't associate as the K Pro being part of the community versus the K Pro as the relationship. I don't know when something starts and ends up, but that's all right. That's not important.
Is this the one that you did, AJ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was the one granted. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. What did he call it? The Grand Adventure last time? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, so is this yours or is this Mike's?
This is Mike's that I sort of did a lot of the work for him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I made
Now
it
I'm
for
caught
him, and then
It
I
was
hit.
AJ's, really. Yeah, it was AJ's. It's just we didn't want anybody to know that, because then they would have an idea of what state he was in to figure it out.
God, I recall. Okay, I do recall. This was when the coins were first out to hide all through the country. Got it. Shannon got one. AJ got, or you know what? Okay, got it. I'm up to date now. Thank you.
Okay. So I had this idea. First of all, I think Calazar's contacted me because he wanted to hide something in Texas. I was working in Texas at the time. And I had this idea to use music in the form of lyrics to create a treasure hunt. And so what I did, I took the lyrics of 5 songs, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but you're really lovely underneath it all. You might recognize that one. And this is last summer, and there was a big song last summer called Old Town Road.
Old Town Road.
By Lil Nas X. And this is what sort of got me into the idea, because as a treasure hunt, one of the things, and this is a big thing for K-Pro, I'm going to name drop K-Pro as much as I can to help me out here. But
Oh boy.
she likes to know with a treasure hunt, where is it hidden? She wants to know where it's hidden before I should even start working on it.
Yes.
And I was thinking, how can I make an idea of a treasure hunt where you sort of get the idea of where things are? And let's see if I can new share. And so I had these lyrics for 5 different songs. And the songs were called Underneath It All by No Doubt.
Yep.
Turning Tables by Adele. Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. Boney Maroney by Sha-Na-Na. And the song Columbia by the band Oasis. So all you had to do, and it required some research, is to take those lyrics, find the 5 songs, and then you get the song name and the artist or the band. And then you take that information, and the very first thing you get is the simple acrostic at the end, TEXAS.
I remember this one now. Okay.
And
That is K-Pro.
this is the first. I was just going to say this. Calazar, the first thing he says, that seems too easy. That's too easy.
How long did it take someone to get Texas?
I don't know, but it was one of the longest ones that took to be solved in whatever the group of ones that that Calazars was doing across the country. It was one of the ones that took the longest to solve.
See,
don't
now, do you
remember-
consider that a cipher or a code? I do not.
That's
Maybe
not a
I'm
ci-
wrong.
That's
Okay.
what they call it, acrostic. I
Yeah.
wouldn't call. I call that wordplay instead of.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
instead
I
of-
love wordplay. Let's wordplay the heck out of things. I love wordplay. No, that's cool because you get confirmation that way. Exactly what you
Yes,
said.
confirmation. So you get that far. It's like, oh, it's in Texas, and so you can either say, oh, I live in California. Screw it, I'm not working on this one.
Right.
Or say, oh, I'm in Texas, or maybe Arkansas or New Mexico. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. Let's see where it is. So because Lil Nas X, and that probably gave me the most difficult letter. I'm going in the creator mind. The creator mind. That was the probably the most difficult one to get for Texas was the X. It's like, oh, Lil Nas X. That makes it sort of doable for me. So you get the song names, you get the bands and the artists, and then what do? Well, it's in Texas. The city is Nacogdoches, Texas. It's considered the oldest town because it has Native American settlements going back 10,000 years. The park you were looking for is called Maroney Park. That was what Boney Maroney for Shauna and I was for. The proxy item was underneath a picnic table in the park. And that was all somebody had to figure out. It was probably more of a simple treasure hunt, but I thought it was pretty decent. We're looking for something that maybe people are fun. I remember on some of these other treasure hunts, I'm looking up like Shakespeare verses and things where it's like, okay, not my kind of thing, but maybe songs, songs and artists. Maybe this is something where more people say, oh, at least you can figure out what it was.
And I
And
remember that somebody emailed me the exact solve and said, I'm nowhere near Texas though. I can't go get it. But they're like,
really?
No, I figured it out. And they did it just like you have right here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now let's say, what was one of the problems? And this is something I want to learn for my next treasure hunt is that I have to do more sort of back checking on what to do. And Calazars told me that there was a problem in that some of these songs, there are cover versions. And so there were different artists covered these songs.
Oh,
and
I do remember that.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that was what part of the problem was. So, I'm taking it as a learning experience that I should back check and check my work, as a searcher would after the fact, or as a puzzle creator should do, which is to try to figure out it, reverse it, do some Google searching, if you put in these lyrics, what comes up. So
But part of me thinks that's okay, that there was a couple other solutions they needed to figure out, that let's say there's more than one artist for Adele. I mean, I see your point, but that might be some of the red herring part. I don't know.
Well, that was an unintentional red herring, if that was a red herring for people. But what I'm trying to say is that you don't want to have people sort of guess if they're in the right spot or not. You want to have them say, okay, I got these names, these lyrics, the lyrics for these songs, these artists, and when I did them in order that I had them in the order of the lyrics, you got Texas for those last names, and you want them to say, that's the answer.
And that's the best thing, and that's the best thing to have is when you see something, you go, it can't be a coincidence. TEXAS, like yeehaw, yes, that's what we never ever got in Forrest Fenn ton. Even
Giddy
though
up.
you're
Giddy up, the doggy.
Ahas make everything. Yes.
Yeah.
But we are aha addicts, and that's what we're just trying to get.
Well, I
It's
found
adrenaline rush, man. You do. It's hormonal. It really is. It's like you get excited. It's better than this glass of tequila. I mean, seriously, like you get that rush,
Well, I spent a month on a hunt in Raleigh, and once it was in a particular park, and it was 2:00 in the afternoon, and I found the confirmation absolutely it was in a park. I pulled my son out of school an hour early, and we had our metal detector, and because it was so, and once I grabbed him, he was like, we've been working for 100 hours to find the park. And once we got the aha, he could have been meeting the president. It did not matter. We were getting to that part. It was such a rush. It was like the best feeling. And I called my brother at the time and I said, we found the park, and I showed him the park. He's like, you've got to go. It was, that's the best feeling, which we never got from you, Forrest. Sorry.
No, we didn't. But we got each other. That's
prize,
right.
second prize.
Second prize.
So any due date, any date when your treasure hunt's coming out, AJ? You still working?
Okay, I haven't even talked about my treasure hunt yet.
Yeah,
I'm
I didn't know you had one. This is awesome.
well, it's not $7,000 in jewelry buried in the ground somewhere. I mean, I'm being honest. I know it's not the thing. Although mine, there's no entrance fee.
Yeah, yours is free, so that's different. You know, it's
Mhm.
like there's different ones. So where will yours be located? Is it
Okay, I have Amy Seeks has a list of things that she has for all her treasure hunts. So I thought I'd just go through my list.
okay?
And one of them is not the location, but I can give you the location is one that I added to. It's going to be in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm in West Virginia, so mine's going to be in the Appalachian Mountains. She has, what is the name of the treasure? I don't have a name for the treasure hunt yet. The creator is this guy with the beard right here. The buy-in is free. There will be no charge to participate in my treasure hunt. The materials will be a YouTube video and a PDF, some type of document, Word document, PDF. The type of treasure hunt is going to be a combo, which is a boots on the ground and armchair. Mine will have a boots on the ground. Let's see. Difficulty, I'm not sure what the difficulty is. I do have some things lined up. It does have a code in it, but I think it's going to be an interesting code. I think you'll like this one. Let's see. Methodology is, yes, there's going to be codes and wordplay and more. You know, I love the wordplay. It's an interesting way. You know, I'm an engineer and I deal with numbers, but the words which I'm learning about is interesting ways to hide things in words. The prize, you're probably familiar with the.
I know that
there we go.
face.
These are the 2019 nickel-plated Searcher coins. This one was actually by participating in a Calazar's marathon last year. This is the one. It is a non-numbered, and so what I had done is I had my bridge symbol laser engraved. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Laser
Right. I
engraved.
remember that. I think
That's
You were telling me
awesome.
about that. I think. Yeah. Okay.
You know,
That's cool. That's one of a kind right now.
So it's one of a kind. It's not numbered, but it is a one of a kind
That is
laser engraved.
It's better.
It's better.
Better than non-numbered. It's better.
So that's what.
That one's one with her name on it.
I want one with a cow on it. I've got ideas now.
So that is what the treasure is that you're looking for. The end date, there's no end date. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't have all of the details worked out for the treasure hunt. But this is one of the things that Calazar's liked is so that people could make their own treasure hunts. And so this is what I'm doing. It's free treasure hunt. The proxy item will be hidden in the Appalachian Mountains somewhere, and there's no start date yet or end date yet. But that's the treasure.
Do you have a
hunt.
ballpark idea? Like, is it gonna be end of the year, sometime next year, late in the this ballpark?
I'd say by the end of the year. I mean, that gives me what, 6 months. I've got to do it by then. It's now because of the coronavirus. I was going to do it earlier in the year, but now the coronavirus came out, and then there's like 50 million treasure hunts that came out after Forest Fen. It's like, all right, I'm just going to keep pushing it off. I like how Randy says, like, yeah, if you're doing a treasure hunt, don't do it right now. There's like too many.
Right.
There's too many of them. So I'm pushing it back. It's not because of laziness though. No, not because of laziness. It's because I'm not trying to overlap everybody else's.
You don't have anything else going on, large books in the background that need to be stacked and put on bookshelves.
Minotaur Marino asked, do you agree that ciphers are only good if the cipher to use is hinted at somehow?
Ooh.
No, I will give the example again of the Mysterious Writings treasure hunt where it was a picture and the code was hidden in the size of the trees. There were no hints on what type of code or cipher was used in there. Just the fact that you need to determine if there is a code or cipher, to me, that's where the aha moment, that's where the discovery process is. If someone says, makes a treasure hunt and says, keyword is smile, it's like, well.
Yeah, but there's a really cool hunt out there. I don't know if you participated in. It's called the Hunt for History. And he has this set of puzzles, and then he gives a cipher and code book, and he gives 10 different ciphers and codes. And he's like, I can tell you when you try to crack this, it's one of these. Because if you said Beale, I wouldn't know Beale cipher. Well, I kind of know now. But if you name something that a code person would be like, oh, that's so elementary, I wouldn't have known what that meant. So I wouldn't have. So for me, it was at least helpful that you had a little bit of a directory, if you will. But that's just.
I would say let's say know your audience. Is this for your 14-year-old cousin that you're doing a treasure hunt for? You're hiding his birthday present in the backyard. Then yeah, if you want to give them the code or something. If this is for the treasure hunting community, maybe not. So this is where you know your audience, I guess, is all I can say. Or what I would say.
I would say if you want to learn more about ciphers, even though I think it's over now because the actual prize got stolen. It used to be called the world's greatest treasure hunt. It had an entire smorgasbord of ciphers, and they even had one chapter that was missing that you actually had to discover in the book. So that's something to try and do. I think I still have my book somewhere. It was a really good one for introductory to ciphers.
I want to buy Jenny's book too. I have not bought Jenny's book. It's on my to-do list.
I have Jenny's book. I do actually. But like there's a couple great websites though, and I will admit I cheat and use the websites to help me decode things all the time. Like I don't know if I've ever tried to actually do a cipher manually ever.
Well, and that was in the Beacon. I was in the Beacon Star where the really smart people are, and they're doing all the codes. And I said, okay, you guys just cracked one. Can you dumb it down for me and help me? Like, how would you even start? And Mike's like, let me bring up this website. And then you put it in and it goes through all the like famous cipher. I'm like, so you cheat. Like I didn't know you cheat. I was doing
cheating. That is a valid method for deciphering. It's not cheating.
Deciphering.
I don't think there's one site that'll like that you can plug something in and it'll magically tell you what kind of cipher.
Right.
Oh
right.
Yeah.
But usually you have to go through and try to figure out what kind it is. And then, but like on the Woodsy Swamp by H, like I swear to God, like that's code cipher. Like how would I have ever come up with that? Like if I didn't like Google it and try to find somebody to help me give me the answer. Like I'm like,
I gotta look it up. It took me a month. It's a veneer cipher and it had the longest key word ever. It's like he was sitting there one night just trying to like, because that's what I said. The password was so long. I was like, this has to be a red herring because this is absolute BS. And that's why I was like, it's a fake. And finally he was like, yeah, it's red herring. I'm like, you evil man.
Breakfast, tea, and bourbon. The who daddy, oopa-doo-doo, wah. That was like a huge, like,
no,
whatever
that was wordplay.
That was wordplay. Yeah.
Okay, then I need to get my terminology down because I saw that. I didn't see that as wordplay. I saw that as incredibly difficult cipher code, advanced magic. Hated it.
So me and K-Pro have had this, not an argument. It's not an argument.
Debate.
Let's call it a lively discussion about codes. And she's like, you do these codes and nobody likes it. You know, like the majority of the community.
No, like 12 people in the world. 12.
Don't like it or do like it?
Do like it. The rest of the 500,000 don't.
How many people typically participate in Calazar's things?
Well, that's just it. I don't know because like the last one I did, it was just put your password into a Vimeo. And I don't know how many, there were 700 views on the video, but I don't know how many people actively tried to put in a password. But when I was doing them over a year or two ago, maybe only like 25 to 30 people, like really actively, like, is this the answer? Emailing, stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe it is the cipher. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe it is the type of treasure hunt.
Well, and I've had people like Copper Dan and Sam Searcher Sam and just many, and AJ just said it, many others that say that's not my preferred type of puzzle. If you were going to make one, especially if you're going to make a big prize, that wouldn't be my preferred way. Mike's like, it's the only way. Like, I love cipher. And I said, do you want someone like you that I think is a small segment, or do you want the whole segment or the whole community? And we philosophically disagree on this topic.
Well, this is what I was going to do. And to try to see, I just want to see what the interest is. I was going to do a grand adventure. You guys may have seen the last one I did, the D&D based one, which had some people try it. Okay. I was going to do a new one. It will be cipher based. And I was going to charge $10 for it. I want to see how many people would pay $10, and all that money, however many people buy in, that's what would go to the winner. So me and K-Pro have a little over under bet. She thinks it'd be under this many people, and I think it'll be over. So it'll be interesting when I get it done. I'll announce it so everybody has a chance to buy in that wants to, and then it'll be released on a certain date. And yeah, all the money for whoever buys it would go to the winner. So it'll just be an
All
exercise.
9 of them, and it'll be a good $90 treasure hunt.
Here, like I am not confident enough in my cipher skills to pay any money to do that. However, how about this, Mike? How about you do a choose your own adventure? So you give people 2 different things to start off with, and then when you finish that, then they can pick out of the next 2. Why don't you do a choose your own adventure one?
That would be cool.
Amazing, actually.
That's really
I've
smart.
talked to K-Pro about that as well. Yeah,
Yes,
there is a way you can
we
do
have
that on
done the
YouTube.
story of choose your own, but we've never thought about choose your own. You can either crack this cipher based or wordplay or imagination. Oh, we got something.
Or an ambiguous poem that can fit 1,000
I'm getting Johnny's little like tingly, like warm, fuzzy, positive energy vibe right now. So yeah.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see how he does his clues, which come out tomorrow, actually.
He said riddle. You have to play back. I started playing back earlier. He said riddle.
Right. But that'll probably be wordplay, right? Go ahead, Candy.
Well, were you guys on when we were talking to him? Were you watching?
No, but I started to
heard
replay. I only heard the last couple minutes.
About where, like, what the riddle is based off of, and he basically said like stuff from his childhood and stuff about where he met his wife and where they like to go.
And you know the high school he named? Mike's family went to.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. I mean, that's the area where I grew up. My step family, they probably knew him. They're probably the same age roughly. So he probably went to high school with some of my cousins or something. So we'll see. We'll see if we can figure it out. Me and K-Pro are in. We bought it. So we're going to get the clue at 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is actually 7 a.m. our time. So we'll see if we can get a hold of somebody that could go look.
That's awesome.
Well, and you guys may know someone that's known in the community that is also there that we're doing kind of a partnership with. He's going to be boots on the ground, but we're going to try to, I think it'll be cracked within a day. If Johnny thinks, and I think exactly what AJ was saying, the hardest part about a treasure hunt is that fine line of not too hard, but not too easy. Mike and I have been debating as well, because I just had to write the short story. It's about 8,000 words. And he's like, oh, that's the easy part. If you're not a creative writer, it is also difficult, but I do agree, the treasure hunt. And if Johnny thinks it's going to be cracked in a week, I believe it'll be cracked in a day. Look at Beast yesterday. There's too many people that think too many different ways, and this is their mission.
Yeah, but half the reason that thing got cracked in a day is because there was over 3,000 of us in a chat room literally talking about everything and every solution that you could think of. And within 30 minutes, we would crack the next level. So
cheaters.
We would have had this solved forever ago.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think honestly, like the way Johnny's doing it, he's doing it like by county. So you know what county it's in.
Yeah.
So there's only so much public lands in a county. And you would assume he's not doing it on private property. I mean, assumingly, but you don't know. Like you don't know if he had a deal with some guy. I don't know. But I mean, there's only so many areas to be searched. So if 500 people have access to a county, I mean, you probably wouldn't even need the clue. You could just get a group of people together and just be like, go search all the.
You're looking for the X. I mean, and the second one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the second one, I don't know if you asked them this. They have put out that you need a buoyant vessel or to be a good swimmer, which I have told him is the wrong way to go, in my opinion. I think it's going to bring danger. And his admin's like, well, people just need to use common sense. But they named the county and they said it takes a vessel or a good swimmer to get there. And several people are like, I'm from that county. We already know what park it's in because there's only a such and such park that you have to go through. They absolutely, they're like, we don't even need we're just waiting for him to put the X marks the spot. And I'm like, oh, wow. I mean, I'm not from the area, so I don't know it well enough.
I have a feeling, like Minotaur Moreno just said, it'll be cracked in an hour. I have a feeling Johnny's riddle will be solved fairly quickly, but I think the answer to the riddle could be the name of a huge park. Now you've got to go find his X. I think everybody's going to be out there looking. I don't think he narrows it down to where the actual X is. Just my opinion. I mean, I'm just guessing. But I think to make it fun, it's a general area. In other words, like that Theodosia, Tobacco Trail. What if the treasure man had put an X? So go up and down the trail and look for the X. I think it's going to be that kind of a thing.
Yeah, but think about this. If you have 500 people and it's relatively easy, let's just say, like Minotaur says, cracked in an hour. Now you have a shovel and you have, let's just say half of them crack it in an hour. You have 200 people going to a park all with shovels and you're literally able to find an X. Do you think more than one is going to be there and there might be an altercation?
You're not battle
It depends how big the park is. I mean, probably not. If it depends how big the park is, we'll see.
I mean, come on, this is crazy times. People are angry over all kinds of crazy stuff. That's a possibility. I mean, but the good thing is he's planning multiple hunts. So whatever lessons he learns early on will only make the later ones stronger. You know, and he is definitely getting, I think, more involved. Like coming on tonight's show, he's opening up to more possibilities. If he needs help, like he's going to be meeting more people who might be able to help make it, you know, even tougher.
Well, and the really cool part, I don't know if you followed all of his Facebooks and stuff. He has already had some lessons learned, and their team is so good about coming out quickly. Like when he said, you can't work in teams. So a lot of people bought for their family multiple tickets. Then they tried to get refund. He was like, guys, let's clarify this now. You can get a refund right away. If me and Mike are working on it, I asked him, I don't want to be disqualified. Should I buy two? And he's like, no, you guys are in the same household. And like some people bought, like if you have 2 kids and 2 adults, 4. And he's like, that wasn't my intent. He cleaned it up. He took refunds. That's how we got our ticket in the last couple of days, because people just figured that out. He has been communicating and he seems very honest and genuine. I think he's going to learn. The only one I wish he would reconsider is the hunt number 2. The lessons learned, and I messaged him and his admin, the lessons learned is a Randy Ballou and Eric Ashby. Look at these names. Please, I understand they think a strong swim. If you're not a strong swimmer, get a kayak. But your definition of strong might be my.
I will say there's one difference though. There's no raging rapids in Michigan, in the county that's in. It may be a lake, a still water lake. It's not like you're up in the Rocky Mountains.
Also August.
Huge current. You know what I mean?
It's also August, so you don't have to worry about ice. You don't have to worry about cold water, not per se, and you don't have to worry about high water compared to if it was like spring runoff. So, I mean,
I think there's a little bit of it, but I still understand K-Pro's point. You don't want accidents happen.
You get to put it anywhere you want. Go, just find another spot. That's all I ask. Because I think somebody might get really excited and think it's only 100 feet out, and then all of a sudden it'll be 500 feet out. Mike, I think you have something.
Not me.
Oh, okay, it's not me.
Oh, it was.
It was AJ.
This time, not me.
Anyway, that's it. You say no, but you muted in it. Okay. Anyway, that was my only. We went off on a tangent. I'm sorry, but that's the only one that I'm like. But that's why we bought into the 4th one as quickly as we could. But we're bought into the 1st one.
AJ, I think we kept pushing the mute and unmute button at the same time.
I don't know. Oh, you're hearing background? I can mute myself too.
Yeah, we're hearing background. So anyway, I think it'll be great. He seems genuine. He seems dedicated. He seems their family's in it. I think it's awesome. So I'm excited to be a part. We already have tickets for the 1st one and the 4th one. So
awesome. Awesome. What are you laughing at?
Dirk in the chat's like, wow, what a big sandwich.
That's bigger than Candy.
I mean, I am kind of jealous. I haven't had dinner. So I'm like, I said I was going to go get food, but then I got sidetracked and never got food.
Well, Candy usually comes on, the skinny little thing she is, and she has like pizza and ice cream. And I'm like, really? Like, is that fair? Life sometimes isn't fair, but I'll live through you here. She's eating pizza and actually eating pizza. It's awesome.
I'm hungry.
No, it's life's unfair that you're eating pizza, and but that's okay.
All right. Well, AJ, are you working on any treasure hunts or puzzles right now?
Yes, I have. Let's see. Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, by the way, William. We're at the end of the month. And it's in a couple hours. So if anybody wants to work on Breakfast Tea and Bourbon, go check out learningstrategies.com, because we're at the end of the month. There was a July clue. There's been a clue every month. There's July, June, May, April, and March clues. There have been 5 clues this year. So hopefully we can get that one solved.
Were you in the Zoom that we did, the private
Yes.
Zoom? What did you think of that? Do you think that helped? I mean, obviously we didn't crack it, but
I've made so many videos already on Breakfast Tea and Bourbon. I don't know what, I've got maybe a few ideas that I gave out, but I didn't give out much just because all of my stuff's on YouTube already of what I thought were the best ideas of bringing out the Breakfast Tea and Bourbon riddle. But I picked that up, maybe like that, like right the past week or so. At the end of the month, I might pick up the riddle again. It's like, oh, let me see if I can work on something else and look at the most recent clue to figure it out.
Is
I
this
don't know.
just that 4x4 spot that?
Oh yes, four
Yeah,
by four, very small but very specific location.
I want to know what the answer is. I just have
Yeah,
no
I want to
clue
know what the answer is too.
Because that's such a tiny little place.
I cut out
It's
a piece of
almost a
paper.
hint in itself.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said a
It's like the size of
coaster.
a drink coaster.
Yeah.
It's that small. I made a piece of paper just to visualize it. Just like the Forest Fenders who made a cardboard chest just so they could visualize what the size is. I made my little 4 inch. It's like a drink coaster when you look at it.
It's like it has to be like a tile or something somewhere, like a little stone or a block or something.
Or a
Plaque,
plaque,
memorial,
a
yeah.
piece of art, something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
flag
nobody can get it. And all he keeps saying is exactly what Forrest said and exactly what everybody else said. And H says like, oh, you're overlooking the obvious. It's simple. No,
I hate
you're
it.
wrong.
So I got breaking news if you guys want it.
Yeah.
Odious and Candy. All right, here we go.
Forrest Fenn put out what?
No, it's not Forest Fend, but it is a new treasure hunt. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So this is the first anybody's heard about this that I know of, although it's not ready yet. But you guys check out 6treasuresfilm.com.
Oh,
So
I
the
saw
idea is to actually do a movie that contains a treasure hunt in it. And there's a trailer here. The trailer is actually coming soon. There's some details here. Joshua Pritchett is the one who did the boots on the ground treasure. And he sent this to me and said, hey, it's still in the initial stages, but if you want to get the word out, so why not put it right here on the marathon? So 6treasuresfilm.com. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to do this. Okay, so we got a guest area. This is my first time on it really as well. So yeah, check that out, guys. 6treasuresfilm.com. And then details will come out when they come out. But another ride still being constructed in the treasure hunting amusement park.
Yeah.
I have a question for Shannon and Candy, because I've asked Calazars and K-Pro this before. What do you look for in an armchair treasure hunt? Do you like boots on the ground? Do you like armchair only? Do you like, we'll go away from the ciphers and things. Do you like the wordplay? Do you like the riddles? Do you like the pictures that you have to decipher something that's in a picture? Do you rather have a book? You want a poem?
Number one, I like a prize that's worth $1 million or more. I will do anything for a treasure hunt that much. Okay. If it's something small, I want something local. If it's boots on the ground, armchair treasure hunts, I don't know. It's gotta be the right time for me. Cause like I am very busy in my life. I get very sidetracked. I'm very ADD. Like I need something to pull me in. So I've only done like one of the grand adventures because it was the right time in my life where I had the time where I could focus and I was excited about it. So to me, it's about timing. Like I would much rather do like an armchair treasure hunt over the winter. I would much rather do a boots on the ground, probably a spring or summer or fall, depending on where it's located. But when it comes to the actual treasure hunt, I don't want to read a book. I am not going to read a book to solve a stupid puzzle unless it's maybe $1 million. I'd read a book. I'm not going to read a book.
What if it's a short book? Like
Dude, let me tell you, like some of H's like things, like those are too long. I mean, I will read them because like they're close to me, but they are so long. I don't want to read that much stuff to solve because there's too much stuff in there. And like I said, I'm ADD. I'm going to go down rabbit holes. I'm going to like waste a whole lot of my time in my life trying to figure out what's going on. I'd rather do like the short little videos Mike does. I love them. Easy, quick. And even if they're not easy, I know everything I need to know is in that 30-second clip. And there might be stuff in there that's not important, but that's only 30 seconds of my life. And that's what I like. I want it short and sweet and to the point. Even if it's really super hard, I want it condensed so that way my brain doesn't have to put in a whole lot of stuff and then try to filter out a lot of stuff. I don't
like a page or two of text and maybe an illustration or two would be kind of the perfect spot.
I think it would be fine. Yeah. I mean, you were saying like 8,000 words and I'm like, I don't know how many pages that is, but it sounds like a lot.
Well, it's actually 7 treasure hunts. So it would be 2 pages, two pages with some illustrations.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can read. I do know how to read.
I'm with you, but it's not where you want to sit. Well, because your brain picks apart every single word. Like breakfast tea and bourbon was too long for me. So just because you can go down too many rabbit holes that way. And I'm like you, my brain doesn't stop. So it's like, could this work? Could that work? I mean, it's too much. So.
Yeah, I'm going to cheat. Like if you give me something too long, I'm gonna like try to like skim it and look for important stuff. And that usually means I end up missing things. But that's what I do. So. Candy, what about you? What do you look for in a hunt?
I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I look for storybooks. I look for the plot line in a story, and I look for the hints and clues within words. I'm such a big word nerd ever since Forrest Finn's Treasure that like I can't see anything else the other way. So I prefer those types of hunts. And I also feel like with the prize doesn't really matter to me. It's more about the challenge. I want to see how difficult and how hard it's going to be for me to solve it, just so when I finally do, I can reverse engineer to see how it was constructed and begin with, and see who else can, get close. I like to challenge people too. So it's like, if I'm close to solving something, I want you to catch up to me. So then I'll let you know some stuff. And then it's like, let's go head to head and see who can figure it out first. I like stuff like that. But then I also just like stuff that you wouldn't even know was a hunt. Like just put something out there and just let it stay out there and see who can finally figure out what it really is. So, just like hidden in plain sight type things. Those are the hunts I go for.
And after Randy's video, it sounds like his token might be hidden in plain sight, but camouflaged for anybody who's seen his new video.
Oh, Mike and Randy. Randy and Mike.
That's the way it was.
I was gonna say that it's okay. Do you see? If you were to pick one hunt that has been your perfect favorite from all the different characteristics of it, what's your perfect hunt?
Forrest Ben.
No, it had no confirmation.
It's still perfect.
It's perfect, except it was awful. It's like it's the perfect guy, except he's a serial killer. It's like the one major flaw. So no, there was no confirmation.
That's perfect. It had the perfect story. It had the perfect storyline. It had the perfect reason. It had the perfect touch of history to it, and it had the hints hidden in words. It's just there's so many things that is why it's perfect. Because
you don't even know any of that. You don't know any of that.
You think
Jenny Kyle, some of her ones for the gold medallions, some of her like pictures and things like that she does. I mean, those are pretty like awesome because it's one page. You know exactly everything you need is on this. There's a lot that are way beyond my cipher and coding skills, like no doubt. But then there were other ones where it was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then like, within a day I knew exactly where it was, but I couldn't get there in time because other people knew it was easy too. And they found it before I could. But yeah, I mean, like those were great. But I haven't done any of the big ones. I don't have the time and the energy and I guess the emotional strength to spend my life on something so hard and then be destroyed again. Not yet. I mean,
well, but I did 3 of Jenny's hunts, and before I could even work on 2 of them, between Beth and I think Brian was in those 2, they're like, their minds are like they solved them within an hour. I couldn't even look at mine before I could get home from work, and they're like, it's solved. And that was as frustrating as the aha, because they solved it so quickly that Jenny had to be frustrated. That's like the worst case scenario for a treasure hunt originator is you spent, Morpheus, he said he spent months putting it together. It was solved in 4 days. He was shocked. So I don't know.
I think it might vary. The Mysterious Writings ones were free, and the one I solved, I did a workaround. I took some information that was in there and I did a workaround. I admitted that in my little video, and she understood that the way they set it up is like there was a workaround where you can take some of the information in there and figure it out. So
what do you mean workaround? You like what do you mean by workaround?
He cheated.
No, I didn't. I didn't cheat, but I didn't figure out the clues, in the linear fashion that you normally do. I figured out there was a trailhead, and I knew it was already in Virginia, so I did a little bit of Googling, and I figured out where it was, and then I used the video of the wall, and then I was able to use Google Street View to find the wall. It's like, oh, there's the wall.
Again,
and I had the trailhead.
note to everybody: don't show a picture of where it's hidden if you don't want it found. It just never works out well. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
this is
good if you want it found, but if you
Yeah.
don't want it found, don't show a picture of where it's
Yeah.
hidden.
I already know you're referencing that Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle Bell Rock. I know. Yeah.
And Pete Bissonnette had that issue with the Breakfast Team Bourbon, although he didn't release it because of that, the video. But yeah, don't take a picture of where it is because people are going to find it. They're going to figure it out.
You know, you guys are definitely making me want to do another treasure hunts.
You're going to make one? You're going to make another one?
Well, I mean, I did. And honestly, like, that was the thing. Like, I know you're talking about like not making it too hard, not making it too easy. That was my thing. Like, I was afraid I was making things too hard. And then lo and behold, I knew some of the steps were easy. Like, I knew that, but I wanted to have some easy steps to make people want to stick in, you know, because if like to do it progressively harder is like the smarter thing to do, because then eventually people will drop off. But I was trying to, you know, mix it up and make it fun, you know, because you can handle frustration, but it's got to be some fun involved. So, but now I'm thinking I need to do another one.
Well, between all of them out there, right now is the time, because there's so many out there. But the hard part for me was when I've put 2 or 3 together with the different hunts we've done, or I've done, or he's done, or I did one with my son. There's some pieces, and I've said this a bunch of times, I was like, everyone's going to get this right away. This is the easy hurdle. We'll just keep going. And people were stumped for weeks and weeks. And then there were some that I'm like, ooh, I'm going to make this so hard. And that's like the first thing everybody gets. And I'm like, how'd you get that? That was impossible. No. Like it's amazing how you can't, I don't think you can remove your own bias from it, but that's the reason I like AJ's riddles the most, because, or like on Monday nights, because I will be thinking down one path. And you said one this last Monday, you were like, this one's a total metaphor. I don't remember. It was like flower or something. You're like, that part's the metaphor, because I thought that part was the literal. And I just couldn't get out of my own rut thinking. And that's what you have to do with riddles. So I don't know. It's the best thing to ever do as a treasure hunter is to create one, even if it's for your kids for their birthday party. You do not realize how different of an experience someone else has, or where they won't go. It just, you can't experience it until you do it yourself, even again if it's your kids doing it or your neighbors or whatever.
I just gotta say, Minotaur Marino just said that mine was his favorite hunts. Oh,
Nice.
I know that's a lie, but thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, my thing is though, if you make it free and it gets solved tomorrow, well, that's okay.
Right.
I'm thinking my concern is if I was making a book and then I had to go to a publisher and you have to choose a cover and then you need illustrations in the book and you do that kind of work and spend that money and then it gets solved the next day, then I might be upset. I mean, that's where you're putting risk in.
So true.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I like Mike's idea of this little debate that we're having of anyone who buys in. So everybody's going to have a little skin in the game to see how many customers there'd be, but the prize is going to be literally that entire amount goes back to whoever solves it. And so that would be an interesting way to figure out kind of that market demand, if you will. But I love the idea that Shannon came up with of choose your own way. Oh, that might be,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Trying to see how that would work, but yeah, I'll think about it for sure.
Well, I mean, what you would do is like when you solved something at the end of the video or something, you would get a code, and then that code would unlock like your next choice or something.
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, we could definitely work on it. So.
Right.
Yeah. Mike is fatigued
Good
from a
stuff.
debate earlier. I kind of thrive on debate. He's like, I'm over it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going on. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. I got some stuff to do for work.
Wait, when's the next grand adventure? When is the next grand adventure there, Mike?
I'm actually going to work on it this weekend, but I don't know when it would be done. And the other thing is if we did charge money for it with the idea, then I've got to get the word out and have it start on a certain day in the future to make it fair for everybody. Everybody should be ready.
In the next week or two, though, like very soon for that one. And then we have a bigger hunt.
Week or two.
We just announced yesterday, we have a big hunt or set of hunts that are going to come out that we see maybe similar to Johnny's. There's going to be several in a row. They're going to be, I think, bigger in price pool. I'm not going to say a lot because Mike and I were like, oh, we're going to come on and talk with Shannon and Candy and we're going to say this, this, and this. He's like, well, what if that changes? And then one thing did change and then it changed back. So we'll just say series of hunts will be a bigger price pool. We don't know how the rest will work yet, but the story is after it's done in its first draft. So illustrations are being done.
Well,
We're
Amy's
figuring-
got a good idea. She was like, maybe you should all collaborate. K-Pro, Odious Soul, Candy, AJ, everybody, and make a treasure hunt. Like get everybody
Ooh.
together and make one. That would actually be
Well,
pretty
we-
fun.
Mic drop right there.
Everybody could do one part of it, one aspect of it.
Oh, not only that, I think we need to have some type of like treasure hunt testers, because I've been looking at some of the puzzles, like puzzle hunts, like MIT Puzzle Hunt, and they
Yeah.
have a group of people that will test, like stress test or whatever you want to call it.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Because that if
Yeah.
we had like a group of people that could, not just create it, but maybe, can you look at this as, what do you think?
But I
That
think-
would be helpful.
If we collaborate, though, we'll be able to test it within the group, though. I mean,
Right.
that's-
Well, and we know the community and the things to be the most concerned about. I think there's a difference between a puzzle and a treasure hunt that has safety issues, a boots on the ground, those sorts of things that we're a little. So we're like the MIT or the code people. We're the treasure hunting think tank. Ooh.
and you got to think we have a lot of like K-Pro and Cal. I mean, they're complete opposites. Me and like Candy, we're opposites in what we like. AJ, I'm still learning you. So I mean, I think if we did collaborate, that would be a great mix. It really would. It would be
Yeah.
something everybody could appreciate.
That would be fun. Yeah, that's definitely a project we could talk about. It's almost like a treasure hunt by committee. That would be interesting.
Fall and winter's coming, man. I'm not going to be in the garden for too much longer. So I mean,
We got something happening here. So and
magic happens. All right. Well, Mike. Anyway, take care. Great. Thank
Okay.
you for having on.
All right, everybody, have fun. Good luck.
Thanks. We're gonna need it.
I'm dropping off too. The next
All right,
guy's
bye,
coming
AJ.
up.
Take
Take it
care.
easy.
yeah, and I think Nick's coming on. I want to give Nick an opportunity because
Well, Nick's not coming on until 9. We have Joel supposed to be
Oh.
coming on next. So
Joe or Joel, like Joel Lewicki.
no, not Joel Lewicki. Joel from the Cash Game. Have you heard of the Cash Game?
Huh.
So the Cash Game. Well, he'll be coming on hopefully soon.
CACHE or CASH?
CACHE game.
Oh,
And
okay.
here, I'll share once I find what I'm doing here. Hold on. So I think he had to put his daughters to bed, then he was going to hop on. So hopefully he'll be on in a second here.
When you said Joel, I thought you meant Joel. Joel
No,
Lewicki. When
not
you're like
my
kids in bed.
Joel. Not my Joel. I love Joel. I miss Joel. It's like I miss having stuff to talk to him about,
Well, and I've talked to him a few times, and I will say things like, "Okay, so with this other," he's like, he was only forest fed, so that's where it's sad we don't have as much to talk about.
I know.
The Cash Game. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now I just got to get everything back up so I can see everything. I got way too much stuff going on.
Oh, this looks
And-
cool.
Joel, you made it.
A few times, and I will say things like, "Okay, so with this other,"
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Sorry, hold on. I gotta shut something down here.
Yeah, I heard K-Pro talking in the background there.
Okay.
All right, so I have K-Pro, Christy Thor. I don't know if you know her. I don't know how much you are in this whole lovely community that we have. So, but she was asking me who you were, and I just pulled up your website here, the cash flow, thecashgame.com. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about what you got going on?
Ah,
There he is. Yes. Hello.
All right, good.
Welcome.
oh man, how are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Good. Hey, K-Pro. I've been watching you guys for a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Okay, good. See, K-Pro's famous, isn't she?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no. You guys have so much to teach me, but
Calazar's actually just hopped off. Mike just hopped off.
I watched him. Yeah.
I don't know where Candy is. I think she went to the bathroom, so she'll be back.
Yeah.
I got your website pulled up here, though.
I see.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you got going on?
All right. Cool. Yeah. I got some treasure hunts that I want to be running like all the time. So, man, let me just tell you where I came up with this. I am not as knee deep into this as you guys are. So like I said, you guys got tons of stuff to teach me. But back in March, I was in a funk like I think a lot of people were. April, man, I needed to go see a counselor. I mean, anybody else have like a really hard mental time going through COVID? Well, back in the fall, my dad had turned me on to The Secret. I actually never got into Forest Fin because I never imagined I'd be able to find it. But the secret, that episode that I saw from what was it, Expedition Unknown?
Yeah,
That
Dustin and
was,
Deidre.
yeah, that was really enticing. So I started flipping through those images and immediately came across one that I thought, I think I might know where that is. And sure enough, the implicit bias set in where I thought I knew it. But so anyways, I was just having a hard time.
Confirmation bias. Yes. I know it.
Right, yeah, that's what I was
Well,
saying.
which secret, if you don't mind me asking, which cache were you looking for? What city?
Oh yeah. Well, I came up with my own city. So it's not my own. Other people thought it too, but they thought image 8 looks like Knoxville with the sun sphere.
Okay.
Are you deep enough into that to have heard that offshoot?
Yes, in general, I was doing the North Carolina one, and I know Dustin and Deidre, and so they got me into it for a little while, but so I know enough about it. But San Francisco's, the big one, North Carolina, a few of the others. So I was just curious if we'd been boots on the ground on the same.
That was the one closest to me because I'm just north of Cincinnati. So
oh, nice.
Well, and that's actually not the closest one to me. Who knows if it's even there? Cleveland was there, but not no more. So I just I was able to consume myself with that for some time to kind of, and honestly, I feel like it helped me out a lot. And then my wife, God bless her soul, said, you know what, if you need to take a couple of days to get away, kind of getting a little restless, you go do it. And so in the middle of COVID, I finally was like, there's other things besides physical safety. So I was like, I'm gonna go get out of the house and go look for this down in Knoxville. And it was amazing. And while I was down in Knoxville, driving and stuff like that, it's like, you know what? If I'm having this much fun and this is a good thing for me, like why can't I do this for other people and even like invest some time and money into it? And so that's where the cash game came from. So I'm trying to hit and help out at least early on. Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, but it's really easy and scalable. But it sounds like, there's tons of stuff going on all over the country, but that's what I'm hoping to do.
All right. So you have this, and tell us how, you have a couple different of these hunts going on. So tell me how many.
And it's always a free one going on. It's inspired, as I already said, by The Secret. So there's a picture and then there's a quatrain. Which is simply a poem that has alternating rhyme. So, they're not particularly articulate, but in the 2 months that we've been doing this, we've had 5 free hunts and 1 paid hunt found. So you're looking at the latest free hunt called Cash Flow. And
now you say we, is it you, your wife? Do you have friends? Who's the we that's doing this?
Well, yeah, it's mainly me, but my wife is obviously my business partner since we share the same bank account.
Nice.
Just we the cash game. So I actually did take a friend out on my last cash planting trip, tri-state trip, driving around, and that was a lot of fun. We planted 12 caches, if you believe that. There's 12 of them spread out across 3 states right now.
Now, are they proxies or are they treasures?
Yeah. Oh, they are actual treasure. They are canisters, anywhere from like this size to 3 inches, and they got a gold or bronze coin inside with a code, and then you put the code into the website there. When you if you click on the I1, you enter the code that was in the canister, and then I send you the rest of the cash prize.
Ah, nice.
How much does it cost to play your game?
Well, the free ones are free. There is a I charge $5.99 for all the paid hunts, and they're worth $150. Right now, if you got on, there's no more than 4 people looking for any one of those, and that's who have paid for it. Who knows if they're actually looking in boots on the ground yet? So,
Wow.
so they're $5.99 a hunt or $9.99 for all the hunts at all the time, and I release at least 2 to 4 a month. So
wait, hold on. Say that number again for, like you said, all the hunts all the time. How much was that?
$9.99 a month.
A month. Okay, so then how many do you release a month then?
I'm sorry.
How many do you release a month?
3, probably about 3 paid ones a month.
Okay.
Might release 4 if they get found.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So how long have you been doing this for?
Just since May 27th, I think, is when I released the first free hunt. It's funny. So yeah, I took that trip to Knoxville and had the idea on like May 16th. And then I put the website together, got an LLC, all that stuff the following week. And then the week after that, Forrest Finn's treasure was found. I'm like, that's crazy. How long was that out there for? When did
10 painful years.
Gonna say 9 years, 6 months, 4 days. No.
that would be funny if you knew.
Oh God.
This is the 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So
Okay, I'm looking at your website right now. Really cool.
All right. So do you just hide or do you bury your caches?
yeah, no burying. No, I think that's a huge mistake. They have to be in public places that anybody can access. And I feel like that was one of the mistakes that Byron Price made with The Secret, is burying them.
Exactly. That's the only reason. So the place that I went and thought the final location is, no, this was
oh, you're in North Carolina. Shannon's in St. Augustine. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I never went to search in St. Augustine.
Okay.
But I would like to.
Well, the place that I 100% think it is, it's illegal to dig. And we actually went for permits. Dustin, Deidre, and I went for permits to be able to dig. And it's like 20 grand to be able to get the people, the experts to, because if you like mess up grass, you have to have people that can replace the grass and all that. And it's cost prohibitive for, I mean, if it was $1 million cash, you could spend the 20 grand to get the right officials. But I mean, the prize isn't big enough to do where I think those are. And I think you're exactly right. I believe The Secret is so well done, except for it is illegal and it's been shown to be illegal in the past. Back in 82, I don't think he thought the internet and people, you know, we would be in the legal place we're at now. So I'm
check to see like what the area that you're sure that it's at. Was it a park back then and it's changed hands or something, or?
No, it's always been. And it's Dustin and Deidre's solve. So, and I think they're actually putting a lot of it out. It's their shadow theory. And I do think it's exactly where, and it's so hard when you're looking at the spot going, I can just, it's right there. And you can't.
It's so maddening because it'd be so easy to give up on after 37 years.
Well,
But, but then one was found last.
Well, I mean,
wasn't technically found.
the guys that found it a couple years ago, and I don't remember which location, but it was in a flower bed. They used like a metal rod, you know, to stick in the ground to test and see if it was there.
Yeah.
And if they did something like that in that location and they were sure it was there, then like there's got to be a way to do a petition or something and get, I mean, because you have a whole community of people that'll sign a petition.
Well, and they now have actual signs up because so many people have dug illegally there. They're like, we have cameras up here, you will be arrested. And I'm looking at the signs going, okay, we're not the first to be thinking this, but you're exactly that exact little rod. I went to the local Home Depot in this smaller town and they're like, we know who you are, we sell these a lot. And I'm like,
I had
really?
to find my probing tool off the internet.
Yeah, it was like lawn probing something, and they're like, "Oh, so," and I'm like, "No, I'm not a treasure hunt."
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's crazy though that if so many people think it's in the same area, why they wouldn't be more, you know.
why couldn't you go to them and like tell them you'd split the prize with them?
Well, I don't think it's enough money. Two, I think they are, it's on a government land. I won't say which kind until Dustin Deidre put it out, but I mean, we talked to them and they're also naturalists. They're like, we don't care about your little probe thing. Look at what's up above here. This is very historic and a monument and this and that. And it's like, no, it's grass near there. And I tried to talk to the person and I was very nice about it, but they're like, sure, you get and they asked for like 3 experts. You have to have supervision. You have to have this and that. And I'm like, that's going to be like 20 grand. And they're like, yeah. Like, so.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. I feel like that's just some of the mistakes that he made. Like and Byron Price, he was not a treasure hunter. He had seen what the Masquerade had done in England, and he was an ingenious entrepreneur. So he wasn't the best clue giver, and he just lost interest. But anyways, he didn't have the same tools that we have. Like with the internet. Like I was thinking, man, if we put treasure hunts out on the internet and they're not found after a couple weeks, people get bored with them. We just update it. We just give them more clues and stuff like that. So.
Well, and I think Minotaur puts it perfectly. You have to wait for construction in the area. Wasn't one of them like in a baseball field, and once it got like dug up?
The only way that it was
That's
found.
what was just found. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen eventually in a couple of the spots that
They're
I
like
think it might be at.
the guy. I don't think the guys ever would have found it if they hadn't been looking for it. And even then, these little plaster boxes could be easily swept aside. But yeah, here's the hoping. So that's what I wanted to fix. I wanted to be able to offer something that is findable and fun, and that thrill of pulling something out that no one else has found it can't be matched. My treasure hunts and the cash game are not as famous as The Secret or Forest Fins or anything like that. But the fact that anybody in the tri-state area can probably go and pull one up should be good enough. And man, yeah, I think that we could do stuff like this in a whole bunch of areas too. Like I think that treasure hunting should be treated more like a sport.
Definitely. Well, I saw that you put on there like you're willing to do events for people, like groups of people, like if a church group or a school group or just a bunch of friends wanted to
birthday party, corporate events.
I mean, like that would be amazing because I mean, like we are in COVID world right now, pandemic, happening, and I love escape rooms, and like I mean, I know I can go and rent out an entire escape room, like and just have me and my family, but I mean, it would be awesome to have a large group of people like just sent out to go find something. Like that is pretty cool. That's actually a great idea. It's like an outdoor escape room.
Yeah.
It's like event planning, and that's where I think Forest Fens Hunt ending there's been some pioneers, the Masquerade, Secret, a few of them. Forest Fens Hunt closing, I think, got the notoriety at the right time that the market has now truly begun. There are 20 or 30 Joels right now, between Michigan, everywhere else, and this is now, I think, able to become an actual money-making model where somebody can plan events. Like my last 2 kids' birthdays have been scavenger hunts to find your birthday, and all the kids have to. Now it could be an event planner that does that, and it's okay for the people that are going to give me hate for, oh my gosh, you're actually making money. Yes, people have to make money, and they have things called a mortgage and eat. So it's okay to do that, and I think we're finally at the point that there's enough adventurers out there like us that you can make a market out of it. But I don't think that could happen until now, and I think it is the COVID and it is all that's happening. It's coming together because there's a escape room based on Forest Fen. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that's out there that's all coming from the hunts. So anyway,
like what if we had a hunt that was going to be taking place in like every single state over a year, and then only the winners of each one of those hunts got entered into a mega hunt.
Oh, it's like quarterfinals or something.
You got to get into the club as long as it doesn't turn like into like a hostile kind of.
Anytime there's money, there might be. But there's the one guy that's putting a coin in every national park in the country, and actually has numbered them and said which ones they are, and he's going to announce like the clues. I know somebody was we went out to lunch or dinner with a searcher last night or night before, and she's like, California is number 47 and I'm going to be on it once that one and so people are like watching it nationwide. So
what's that website?
Hold on, let me find out. I know this guy Mike. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to run to the bathroom real fast. Excuse me. It's Princess Bladder. I'll be right back.
That's just you and me, Candy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Okay. He's looking for it. He's like, it's in one of our videos. I'm like, yeah, that's not helpful. Yeah. So it's interesting because people are doing it different ways. They're doing, I don't know if you saw the Josh that did Boots on the Ground clothing. He's now doing a movie, and all the hints are included in the movies. So there's all these little tangents that are going to be fun. So how many do you have out right now, Joel?
There's one free one going on right now, and they're starting tomorrow. There'll be 3. There's 3 paid ones going on right now.
Nice. Now, do you tell the general area, or is it that's part of the
That's one
deal?
of the big feedbacks that I got, that like, even though my area is only Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, people really want to be focusing on stuff that they can drive to within an hour or two. So
Yep.
I add maps to all the hunts now. So
Okay, that's good. I'm a
like a
huge
circle
proponent.
someplace. I can't remember where I saw it on your site, but I saw a circle that had like a basic general information of like where you're, like it looks like it's like Cincinnati, like Louisville area, right?
yeah, it changes for each one, because like I said, I spent 2 days in the car driving to all corners of these 3 states, trying to spread it out, because I don't want them all to be in the same spot. Tell you what, man, Shannon, I don't know why I didn't think about this. I need to give you free access to some of these paid hunts for you to have fun with and at least look at. I know you can't drive there, but also you could show them too. I don't know if you signed up on the website or not. It's free to sign up.
I did not. Like literally Candy and I last minute decided we were going to do a mini marathon, and then like we threw it together like in like a week's time, maybe 2 weeks time. I don't know, but we threw it together and my life has just been crazy. So like, and then like I said, I think Beth had told me about yours. Genetic Blend had told me about yours.
Yeah.
And,
man, nice job getting Johnny on. That guy is nationally acclaimed, and I was impressed.
Like I just heard about him yesterday. I don't remember. Like I think I just messaged.
I only heard about him last week, but
yeah, I just
threw a news
morning, I think, or something. I can't even remember who told me, but it might have been. I don't remember who. I think maybe somebody had me put him on a Facebook post or something. So.
And he's super nice and super accessible.
Oh my
he's
God.
Gonna come on next week on our show, and he's just like, yeah, like, and you give him feedback, and he's like, absolute, thank you. He keeps saying thanks, bro. I don't think he realized, because I'm Chris on Facebook, so he keeps saying thanks, bro, and I'm like,
it's a thing. My husband does the bro thing. Like when I first met him, he was like, bro, and I'm like, dude, I'm not a bro. Will you call me bro? Like I'm a woman. I'm a woman. Thank you. Like don't call me bro. So.
Hey, bro, how do I find you on Facebook and stuff like that?
Chris Thor is my name on Facebook, but we run the Grand Adventure, K-Pro Cow, or Grand Adventure. But the cool part is give us your info, because we just took over. I don't know if you knew that there was a Forest Fen page, and it had 25,000 Forest Fen searchers, but it's a page, not a group. And that guy just messaged Mike and I and said, I've been watching you for years. I'm out. Do you want to take over? And we're like, yes, we will put it. So we've renamed it. It's called the Treasure Hunting Amusement Park. And we put out any new hunts, we put out the information. So I'd love to. I didn't know about your hunt until right now. I'm very excited.
Sure,
so.
Yeah, we're small, we're young. But
who isn't? Forest Fen's over. They're all, we joke around because we do a YouTube, Mike and I, twice a week. And it's the amusement park. And there's lots of rides. But the big ride just shut down. Masquerade got shut down long ago. We have lots of smaller rides, and it's awesome.
Is it the Children's Grand Adventure? No. The Grand Adventure.
Definitely not the Children's Grand Adventure.
Put in Cowlazars, Cowlazars. That's his handle name.
Okay. I was looking for the website, but I think I may have found your YouTube here.
Yeah. The website's the Hint of Riches, or hintofriches.com.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say that could be our song. We're ridiculous. We're corny. We have songs. So anyway. But that's cool. Yeah. But now where's like Shannon, I felt like, and Candy too, I felt like the community was, the community splintered, but also kind of coming together at the same time. Like I didn't know about Joel's and you didn't know about Johnny's. Mike just happened to grow up literally like in the same area as Johnny. So that's how we kind of knew. And then we had the California peeps. And I mean, it's just, yeah, it's getting bigger.
I think it's one of those things, like we all had to kind of like go through our grieving process with Forest Fens, treasure being found, but I think we're all going to come back together. Like, I mean, there's no doubt, because I mean, what else are we going to do? Like we need something.
Well, I feel Mike and I might be totally biased, and we probably are. I believe everybody's going to come together every year in Vegas for the for that WSOF, and that's when we're going to talk about all the different hunts, and that's going to be like the grand one event, but everybody's going to go back to their own individual hunts. But
yeah, if COVID ever ends, I'm like so afraid to leave and travel. Ugh.
Yeah. I know.
Reminds me of that was what the Travelocity commercial. Do you remember Places?
I remember Places.
Yeah.
Garden. Not the same. I mean, it's
Oh.
cool. I'm growing stuff. I feel like God sometimes. Like I get to grow things and then eat them, but not the same. Not the same as going to Mexico and swimming in the ocean and on a beach. And I've had to cancel like 2 or 3 trips already. Terrible. I can barely hear you, Candy.
Yeah, we heard that. It was low, but we
We
heard that.
didn't hear anything. No.
Hear me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
we can.
scream, we can hear you.
I
Yeah.
hate this computer.
Mike got me a new headset because we had that issue. So yeah.
I bought a headset, K Pro, and it's not compatible with my laptop.
Oh, well, that's step one. You should get one that is compatible.
It was, and it still doesn't work with my laptop. Like, I don't know what's wrong with my laptop.
Yeah.
Minotaur Marino, I said, I feel like God when I get to grow things, because God created everything, whether you believe in God or not. We're not going to say, but if you believe in a God, then you believe God created everything. So being a gardener and being able to grow stuff, whether it's a flower or a vegetable, it kind of makes you feel like understand why God feels amazing. Like, because you created something. Like, even though you didn't create the seed or the sun or the water or the soil, you did create that. And it kind of, makes you feel whole. But anyway, all right, so back to Joel. So what else should we know? Like, what are your plans? What are your goals? Where do you see this thing going?
And I would love to be able to be doing it in every single state. I know that some of the people who found me so far have not been in the tri-state area, and they're like, "Man, we want more stuff to do. So can you move it out here?" So let's see. You're in Virginia.
I'm in Maryland.
California, and where are you guys, K-Pro?
I'm in Vegas right now, and I live in North Carolina.
Oh, okay,
I'm a complicated person.
That's fun. Yeah. So yeah, I think it'd be fun to be able to do that. And like I said, I think it'd be fun to offer up free hunts where people then like earn an entrance into like a hunt where only the best of the best are there. And then, like I said, if it becomes like a sport where there's seasons, they're like there's always something running. We don't have to be let down when somebody finds the forest fin treasure, because we know there's going to be another one coming, and
there could be badges and all of that, like they do in social media. If you have so many like hunts or you've participated in so many, you've won so many, and there could even be not full out hunts, but like little riddles. Literal badge.
Yeah.
Wheels in her head are turning.
There's so much.
I believe Joel said to do one of the paid hunts. He has free hunts, but to do one paid is $5.99, or you can do all the paid hunts you want without any limit for $9.99 a month. And he says he's releasing like 3 and maybe at some point maybe 4 hunts a month.
Every month there's a month free trial too, so you can improve. Not take my word for it. See if they're any fun. See if they're boots on the ground. On the website, you can see we keep a Hall of Game page. So not only do you win the cash prize and get the enthusiasm of finding your own tin can, but then you also get immortalized in our Hall of Game. But yeah, you can check those out too. And I heard Candy saying earlier, she was one of her favorite things about the hunts is like reverse engineering. So we try and put up keep the past hunts that have already been found up there.
Nice.
With some of the answers, so you can look back and see where.
What's your biggest lessons learned, or something that you didn't realize until you became an originator and experienced the fun of the community? Did you have any good lessons learned?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, immediately I was disappointed when my first one was found within the first 24 hours. So I'm not nearly as smart as I think that I am. And then really the first 4 hunts have been found like within every single one of them, like averaging like 48 hours or something like that.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, I think I need to make them a little bit harder because I think I heard you say earlier, K-Pro, that people were solving the stuff before you could even get around to looking at it, and that's
right.
That's frustrating. So yeah, definitely
Well,
try.
only when you're paying for it. When it's free, oh, you missed it, that's okay. But I paid for, I think it was Jenny's hunts. I think she paid, and it was tiny, so it didn't matter. I think if you paid for, it was $10 for 4 hunts, or it was $5 a piece or something. So I just bought all 3, but it would get released at like noon. I get home at 5 because I was on the East Coast, and it was like already solved. And I'm like, it was $5, but still, it was like, I want to do. So, and the same person kept winning like 3 of the 5. I think it was Genetic Blend. And I wanted to say, can you delay Genetic Blend by like 5 hours? Just give us a couple, delay her by 1 day. She's super smart. It solves it. She just had the right, I think, mindset of how Jenny was setting them up. Like that clicked, it clicked to her.
Well, that's
She was
what
the puzzle
Ashley
master.
said that inspired her to start Parish, because the Tone in the Tree and all the hunts she was doing on her Facebook page, the same people kept winning over and over. So she wanted to expand it, to change it up, to make it fair for everybody.
Yeah, but I participated in Genetic Blends. I looked at it, and even when I found out the solve, I was like, oh, I would have never, like, I thought, oh, I'm going to see it and it's going to be like Bing. You had to know musical notes. I don't know music. I appreciate it, but I don't know like E, F, G, all that stuff. It was like, oh, that could have been in Chinese. I would have been able to figure it out better.
All right, Joel. So the crowd wants to know, what is your background? They say that you seem like an intelligent entrepreneur. And plus you have a very like modern background too. I love the little pop figures, but it's very like streamlined and crisp. I like that.
Oh, yeah, this is my Actually, I went to Bible college and I'm a pastor, so
Really?
yeah. So this is my streaming setup for when I do like I read my Bible in a year,
Okay.
like 4 times a week. So yeah, I do that, and like I said, I like to distract myself with competition, with treasure hunts, video games. That's kind of how I got into this.
All right, so now I got to ask. I'm a Pentecostal preacher's granddaughter. So, what denomination?
Non-denomination. We're like kind of independent. Our little church is. So.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a cool answer. Like I wasn't expecting that. So different than I thought. Like mechanical engineer.
Well, that explains the good public speaking. I mean, like, come on. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know about that, but
fun.
Yeah. Man, I've also discovered, going back to your question, K-Bro, that there is a lot of information out on the internet. Like, I've had people reverse image search and stuff like that. I think, was it maybe your husband was saying? I don't know. Is Mike? Who's Mike?
Not husband. We're all impatiently waiting for a wedding invitation, but
not a good public speaker. I apologize. Your significant other. Is he saying that? Oh man, what was he saying? About the Oh yeah, he said don't show a picture of where the things are hidden.
Yep.
That's exactly what I did the first couple of times. Actually, I still do it. I just try and now I'm zooming in on a little bit more so that there's less information there.
Yeah.
Because
Make sure you scrub though that one image, because didn't Toby teach you could go into the history of the image and it'll tell you exactly where it is?
Yeah. Which I unfortunately took some pictures from my house and then I put them up on the forum that I was a part of. And then I had a searcher in front of my house and I was talking to a searcher. I'm like, how is that possible? How did they know? And they're like, you do know that you have, and they showed me like, oh, take down this picture and then you go to the metadata. And I'm like, what the hell is metadata? Like, I'm so not technology savvy. I realized I gave them a map of where I lived. And so I moved now and I don't post those. And when I do wipe whatever data. But it's really interesting. If you take a picture wherever it is, you could be giving your final location away and not even know it. So just
like I'm filtering these things through an image program and then I'm putting them on Wix website and they can still get that metadata.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
I used to be that tech savvy. I'm not anymore. So.
I feel like if you were gonna post a photo, there's this app where you could actually post a photo and turn it into a puzzle. I would do like a 10,000 piece puzzle and then have people assemble it if they really wanted to see it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we're putting together a story with illustrations, and I think I'm going to make the PDF and then we're going to scan it from Mike's work, or I don't know. We're going to do something that it's impossible. I don't know. It'll be advanced
Do like a
hacking.
screenshot of your picture because like on
Yes.
my Mac, I just push Shift Command 4 and like I can just like drag and click like and that I do that for most of my stuff. It's just what I do. So
Yeah.
if I do that, I don't have to worry about picture data. I mean, you can find out where I live. I mean, but big whoop, that's on the internet. Anybody can find out where I live.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I think. It's not cheating if there's no rules. Sometimes they put out rules like they did Mr. Beast, but do you have rules that you have to go by the clues, or if it's, hey, they figured out, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, I do have some terms to make sure that people are staying safe and to try and protect ourselves too, like, and make it very clear. There's no digging. There's no disrupt. I don't want anybody disrupting nature either. Like, I just want these things sitting underneath rocks, underneath benches, inside of trees. We're just here to have fun. We're not gonna waste anybody's day or destroy a public park or its beauty. So
Yeah.
It's a Nick.
All right, let's welcome
Hey.
Nick. He's joining us.
Well, I have to drop off. It was really nice meeting you, Joel. Hello again, Nick. I've seen Nick before, but thank you, ladies, for having me on. I'm still going to pop in the chat when I can, but I have to go find Kidlets. They're somewhere around here.
That's okay. That's okay. Thanks for hopping on. It was good to see you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, K-Pro.
I'll let you guys talk to Nick too if you want.
All right, awesome. Well, Joel, it's been a pleasure about learning more. I can't wait to see how things are. If you need any help in hiding something, definitely let me know. I got Maryland, like West Virginia Panhandle.
All right. The wheels are turning on how to do a nationwide, like, kind of mega hunt. So, like, a one-time event that people.
Even if you're just slowly expanding, like,
right.
up, I'll be happy to help.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's nice talking to you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Have a
good. Well, hey, Nick, how are you?
Ladies, how's it going? Thanks for having me on tonight. And
Happy Friday night. Do you got a drink in hand? Like, are we doing anything?
oh, if you guys know me, I'm a walking IPA ad. So my drink of choice. Hang on now. Hang on. Here we go. This is brought to you in part by Highlight, Cigar City Highlight. And I got my double IPA shirt on. So if Greg's in the chat, Greg knows what I'm talking about. So.
All right. I need to run downstairs real fast and get another iced tea to mix with my tequila. You keep him company. I'll be right back, okay? And don't talk about any new treasure hunts until I get back, okay?
Oh, we'll wait. Yep.
I don't know.
You've been nah, you've been keeping me company for a long time.
I'm like, oh, it's just Nick coming on. Okay, I don't need to be here.
No, stay, because we got some cool stuff to talk about with my hunt and what's coming up. Finally, to get to that.
I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, I've been holding a lot of it close to the vest. So once she gets back, we'll get down into the nitty gritty. I did hear some of the cool stuff that was talked about with the earlier guys. I mean, big round of applause to that guy Joel for doing what he's doing and putting stuff out there.
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, Joel, Johnny, I mean, these are all new things that I've never heard about before. Apparently Johnny's is blowing up pretty big, but I mean, it's awesome. So what are you doing? What is yours? Like, talk about you now.
Well, for our hunt, I mean, my journey, I guess I should start with my journey with the treasure hunting hobby. I guess probably started with most people. I got into the hobby just by finding a Forrest Fenn ad like on a Yahoo page one day. And what happened was I got into it and I got really hardcore into it. And I think that's where I ended up meeting Candy. But I ended up getting out of it because you ended up putting a video out that described me to a T almost. It was like the top 10 reasons not to look for Fenn's treasure. I'm like, this woman is speaking to every weakness in my body, because I know how I am when I get into hunts and I hyperfixate. And for something on that scale, I just know what would happen. I'd go to Wyoming, and if I don't find it, my wife's going to have a hell of a time trying to get me back on a plane. So I ended up focusing on the smaller hunts, and Ended up having my first success. I heard you guys bring up Genetic Blend. Beth, that was probably my first win in treasure hunting. She ended up putting out a Oz-based hunt, and I ended up winning that. And then after that, I hooked up with my buddy Robert, and we ended up doing this hunt,
Oh, you got it?
which
Do you
is
have it?
yeah, called the Lost Skull, and that was put out sometime last year. And we ended up we never met each other before in person, and we ended up just sleeping in a hotel room together the night before. And we ended up going out and at midnight to go dig this treasure up. Failed until we pulled the plug at probably 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the next morning we went out there and we dug it up and we won. So for me, I kind of talked to Robert. I was just like, look, man, I'm like, you're kind of a left brain. I'm a light brain. He's very cipher heavy. I'm more riddle, image, and story. So I'm like, this is our opportunity to give back now. So what we did is we came up with this hunt, and it's called the Artifact. So what the Artifact is, it's basically a story that is going to challenge, and this is what we want it to do. We want it to challenge somebody's own thought pattern on what we're all doing here, which is deep. Some people will go out on like a bench, or they'll sit down on a bench in a park and they'll just people watch and stuff like that. But nobody ever stops and thinks sometimes like, how did this all happen? How did we all get here and stuff like that? And that's kind of where the story kind of begins. It has a lot of parallel to creationism. It has a lot of parallel to Ancient Aliens. If there's anybody that knows about the author Zecharia Sitchin, or the guy that wrote Slave Species of God, I mean, the way the hunt is going to be storyline wise, it's going to give you these snippets of time periods all the way back to like BC, but it's going to be almost parallel to real life. However, it's going to have some fiction to it, but it's going to be enough to where it's like, man, this could really happen in real life. And that's kind of like what we want people to take away from the hunt, whether they win the hunt or not. So.
All right. So I am like definitely very intrigued. So first off, when does this come out?
Okay, so we have our master puzzle already in play. We have half the story written. My job is to write the story. So I've been working it on and off. The master puzzle's in place. We are working with an artist, probably multiple artists, because we want to own the rights to all of our art, but at the same time, we don't want our artists to know what we're doing at the same time. So it's been a challenge kind of getting different artists to kind of do something that kind of looks the same. So we're shooting for third quarter of 2021. That's when we plan to put it out. It will be a boots on the ground hunt. We plan on it being a hardcover book. I mean, we want it to look gorgeous. We want it to look like nothing that's ever been out there before. Like everybody says the next Masquerade. We're not looking at it so much in a profit standpoint, because that's been a kind of a difficult thing. I'll get into that if it comes up, but we want, as far as this beauty of the book, we want you to be able to pick it up in 10 years, whether you solved it or not, and just be like, man, I really got something out of this book, whether it be the prize, whether it be the story. So that's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for 2021 third quarter.
Okay. So how much do you think this book is going to cost?
So price point wise, when we were looking at, we're obviously going to be doing self-publishing. So self-publishing through Amazon. And there's obviously some authors out there, and I've kind of had some help talking to some authors that were, some felt more successful, some were not. I've had conversations with Robert Brewer, who wrote the Lost Skull. That's the one that we solved. I've had conversation with Paul Stockwell, who wrote Fandango, and as well as Pete Wilder, who wrote The Oracle. I got to meet him in London. There's definitely there's a push and a pull when it comes to publishing. We want to try and keep it at $25. We want it to be something that's going to be like an investment, but we also need it to be to where it's enough of an investment to where we can give you guys like the wow factor with the imagery, with the hardcover. We want it to be bound well. Obviously self-publishing through Amazon, you're not going to get as much of a cut, but we think $25 is going to be the good number to settle on.
Yeah, I'm thinking like some of my more beautiful books definitely cost like $40 plus, you know, with the imagery and like you could, but like just look at the first spend. Like you think about the paper and everything. That's why I was definitely curious about what price point you were thinking of ending up. I mean, I can't remember how much I paid for, and I'm looking like I can find it. Hold on, down. Give me a second. Let me pull something.
Hey Nick,
Yeah, go ahead.
skull yet?
I'm sorry.
Did you get your skull yet?
No, the Lost Skull is in transit right now. So me and Robert decided when we won that hunt. Hold on, I'm looking at the screen of this happening, and we're on a delay. So I'm
Yeah.
watching us on my phone, and then I'm watching us on the screen. And if I try and follow on the screen, I'm going to start looking like a martial arts movie. So it's just okay. So I had to turn off my screen. I had my notes from my hunt, but I'm pretty sure I could do it on the fly. No, the Lost Skull should be here in a day. We share the prize. I mean, it was a cash prize, and then it also was the skull itself. But the story behind that is that my partner, he ended up going out there and with his son, who was 7 years old, and he got a bad flu, and he had to end up taking him home. So when we did dig it up, I told him, like, listen, you take it for 6 months, I take it for 6 months. That's kind of how the guys from the Chicago Secret, I think they kind of do the same thing with their cast. So that's fair. And that's something I kind of encourage anybody that if you do a hunt that's going to be an item, which I'll get into with our hunt, you know, find somebody flesh and blood. And if it's an item, that's the prize. Just work something out to where you kind of have this joint custody. I mean, in the end of the day, it's really about the solve. And that's kind of what we want with the hunt that we're putting together.
All right. So what I went to get off my shelf was the Astana book, which this one is a beautiful book. Very well done. This was $38. And I bought this for the cipher that was inside to try to figure it out, which I still don't think anybody actually ever turned in a correct cipher. So I would say don't be afraid to go more on a book if you have to make it awesome, because people will buy it.
That's exactly what we're going for. We want it to have we want the images to pop. We want the images to kind of take people back too. We want it to be a little racy, not racy to the point where it's like, you know, oh, you can't look at that. But I want it to be something that really challenges people, you know, like a Tower of Babel with a UFO on top of it, like about to destroy it or something to that matter. If I'm going to allude to probably one of the images that you may see.
Controversial. And that's not racy. That's controversial. Yeah.
Yes. And controversy is definitely going to be a factor in the story, because it puts the person in a situation where you have these characters, and it goes all the way back to BC, and you have the creation of man, and then fast forwarding to man understanding that he may have come from somewhere in the stars. And then we have another character who's going to be our main protagonist, who's kind of like a Nikola Tesla character. If you guys read up on Nikola Tesla a lot, like he was one of the biggest pioneers in the energy wars of the United States of America, and with Edison, and just what's called the current wars. So there's a character that's kind of based on him, right? So what he discovers at the dawn of time, like maybe like 1918, during that kind of time period, he discovers that somewhere on the earth, there's this energy system. And in that energy system, mankind has found a way to just power the entire earth without any need for any type of fuel. It could be done for free. And what they all found out is that this wasn't created technically by us. This was found out by other beings. But the reason they put us here, and I use that term seriously, the reason they put us here is to help build this energy system. The thing where the story takes a terrible turn is that because this guy is so important, and because he's linked up with the people that were important with creating energy and fossil fuel and all that type of stuff, as they understood what he was trying to do. And that's where it kind of parallels with Nikola Tesla. He was trying to give this to the world for free. So they didn't like that idea. So what ended up happening is there's 12 points all over the globe that create this energy system. Okay. And they also found out how it worked. So what they ended up doing is they found out a way to knock one of them down. And it's kind of like Christmas lights. If one goes down, they all go down. And after they figured out after to do that, they went out and they tried to kill this guy, and they succeeded that. But before he did that, he wrote a diary that has 12 puzzles that'll give you the location to unscramble the last location. And by doing so, the person who solves our hunt is going to bring the entire thing back online. And the people who came and created that entire system, they are going to present mankind the artifact. The artifact is going to be the prize at the end of the hunt. So in a quasi way, what the artifact is able to do, it's able to give mankind like the next step to go into evolution. So that the character, the person that actually solves our hunt, is technically the hero of the story. And that's kind of something that we've never seen before in any type of treasure hunt. We wanted them to be part of the story, kind of like the never-ending story with Atreyu. We wanted to put this into a treasure hunt as well.
All I gotta say is I've already fallen down your rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. I'm like, I want to be a part of the story. It's kind of crazy, actually. Like you did such a good job. Like literally just drawing me. And I'm like, okay, get this book out. Let's get this started.
Yes, and it's been quite a change. Candy, you had a question or?
Oh no, I said let me save the world. That's kind of how I feel right now.
That's pretty much what we wanted it to be, but at the same time, where we take you in the hunt, the places that you're going to go, and how you're going to interact with the places that you go, because this is our time. Like we had our time. We won our hunts. Nobody wants to see the same people winning the same hunts over and over and over again. So it's just like, this is our way of giving back, right? It's kind of like our love letter back to the community. So when I talk with Robert about this a lot, he's my partner. I'm like, Robert, how do we draw the most people in at the same time? I mean, we have a whole bunch of people that came off of the Fen hunt. We have this niche cipher-based community that gravitates towards like these wall of number type hunts, and they're really good at that. But if I do it just like that, then that gives them a big advantage, because ciphers and codes, I mean, let's face it, I mean, because I've won a cipher and code hunt, and I will be the first to tell you that you have an advantage if you know decoders and you know how to use computer scripts and you know how to use Excel. You will have an advantage off a guy in the street, and we didn't want that. We wanted it to be able to be a person off the street to have an equal advantage to win our treasure hunt, just as much as somebody that's been breaking codes or doing ciphers for 8 to 10 years. It's just there's hunts out there that are like that, and that's their market. We want it to be a more broad market. It's not to say that it's going to be a hunt that's completely devoid of ciphers. I'm not going to divulge whether they're in there or they're not. However, we want the winner of this hunt to be brave enough, be vulnerable enough, because the story is going to require you to be vulnerable in thought process. We want you to be brave enough to have a well-rounded skill set. So that means be functional. And I use the word functional, not be like just expert. Be functional in ciphers, be functional in image recognition, be functional in riddle recognition. Pay attention to the story, like all those aspects that we learned through going through people's hunts, and all these authors that we're so grateful to have writing these hunts, the great ones like, Randy Pischel writing Bacon Star, and the Stockwells writing Fandango, Fenn writing The Thrill of the Chase. They all have like their things that kind of absorbed into us, and we take and we use what we feel is useful to put out a product that's going to speak to the broad base of people, because we want to reach as many people as that we possibly can.
All right, awesome.
Described my perfect treasure hunt. That's what we were talking about earlier, and that is exactly what I asked for.
Yeah, actually, I asked for short and sweet, which this is not short and sweet, but I swear to God, like just the story behind it. And maybe that's what I need more of. Maybe I need that passion, that story, that purpose explained to me. And maybe I just don't feel that with some of the other treasure hunts, like they don't draw me in. So I think you did way too good of a job drawing me into this. So now I'm very much looking forward to it. Let me tell you.
We appreciate it very much. I mean, it's still a little bit of a ways to go. It's just, I got my computer screen up here, and then
Are you gonna
I took a.
release teaser chapters?
I'm sorry.
Are you gonna release any teaser chapters?
We haven't. We have stuff that's already finished. We're still kind of discussing whether or not to release anything at this point, just because we kind of want to hit it. We want to hit like a freight train. We're talking like full video trailer, music behind it. I mean, if people know me personally, they know I'm a musician, and I've been a musician my whole life, so it's going to have music behind it and stuff like that. So when it comes time, you're going to know when it hits, because the trailer is going to be, we want it to be almost like a movie trailer, but we want it to have that impact to where it people's like, holy cow, dude, I got to get into this because I have to be the hero. That's what we want.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about doing like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter to get you started on this?
We're a little at odds with each other. I want when it comes to Kickstarters and stuff, I have to kind of look at it historically. And Candy and I have talked about this online a lot too, because she's trying to work with her hunts, and I voiced it to her in a way that's just following people that have done Kickstarters. I seldom seen any that have succeeded their goal. And usually when you do a Kickstarter, there's an expectation from people. So we don't want people to pay. The last thing I want somebody to do is, and it's going to kind of sound like this when you buy the book anyway, but the last thing I want somebody to do is just give me $50. And it's like, hey, give me your $50 so I can go hide it for you and you can go find it. I want it to be more like, here's our book. You have an equal playing field with everybody that's out there. So I'm more of the opinion that I'm going to self-fund it ourselves. We're going to put up the prize money. If we don't make a dime, which seems to be the trend, unfortunately, but if we don't make a dime, we're all good with it. It's about the experience, the location. Whoever finds that location, it's going to be a heck of an adventure for you. I can tell you that right now. So, but right now I'm kind of at a no with a Kickstarter. I'm not putting an end date on it at this time. I just kind of want to let it roll. So there's some hunts out there that have end dates on them. One's coming up in November. So we just want to give people as much time as they can. We're going to be as transparent as we can, but at the same time, just learning from some of these hunts, your access to us is going to be very limited. And we're only going to release anything that's going to be public. So it's going to be a tough thing just being inside the community and being disciplined enough to, not have people say, hey, what does this mean? Hey, what does that mean? It's like you have to kind of have a separate relationship now once the hunt releases. So it's something that we're prepared for and we've been talking about for a while.
So you're telling me that even if I send you like a 6-pack of IPA beers, you won't give me any hints?
It's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening.
Nick, Amy asked, does your do you have like a name or a title for your hunt locked in yet?
Yes. So the name of the hunt is called The Artifact. So when you see the cover of the hunt,
okay,
it's going to look it's going to probably almost look like black, kind of like how the Lost Skull was. It's going to be hardcover, blackish, not like the show, just like the color. It's going to be probably like gold leaf writing. You're probably going to see somebody that kind of looks alien-ish, humanoid-ish, holding a pyramid-shaped object that has gold on it, that's made out of obsidian, that looks like it doesn't come from this planet. So that's what you're going to be seeing. And the name of the hunt is going to say The Artifact and an armchair treasure hunt.
So where are you getting the artifact? Are you having it made? You guys have had, like, tell me about the artifact itself.
The artifact itself is going to be made by a local jeweler. We have the concept art for it, what it's going to look like. The overall value we want to make for the hunt itself, we want it to be worth about $5,000. We haven't decided, because the Lost Skull was cool like this, and we know that cash kind of has a tendency to make people kind of team up. It's a lot easier for people to team up when there's a cash prize, because cash is easy. You win, PayPal, boom, 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 congratulations. and it's done with. Whereas with the item, people get a little bit more competitive with each other. So we're kind of thinking about doing like a hybrid, maybe make the artifact worth about $2,500 and then maybe do 2,500 in cash. But the artifact is going to be made locally by a local jeweler.
All right. So Holy is asking, do we know your partner, like Lost Skull and doing this? Like, is he known in the community?
Yes. So Robert goes by the name of Maristralia. He's a big dude. He's a 6'3", strong Australian accent. And he's been around. We've worked on quite a few hunts together. I met him through Mysterious Writings, and we first linked up on Beacon Star, and then we moved on to the Oracle, and then that's when we finally really hit the home run with the Lost Skull. But he's kind of like my yin and my yang on everything, just because what I suck at, he's really good at, and vice versa. I could throw a cipher at that guy and he'll just decimate it in minutes. But for me, if I gave him a riddle, he'll just stare at it. But if you gave me the riddle, I can do I can make quick work of it. Like, just case in point was this last hunt that came out with, I guess it was Art of Hidden Messages with the Pennsylvania hunt. Like, he's like, hey, check this out. And then, 5 hours later, I'm like, hey, it's here.
I told
But,
you.
COVID. Yeah. But
entire time he's like, it's here, it's this, and I was like, OMG, like, this is it. And then all he needed to do was send someone out there, and then 10 minutes before they showed up, it was solved.
Yeah. So it happens. That's the age of COVID right now, right? So it's just sometimes you got to be cool with just solving it. But I think and this is just coming from experience, because I know there's a lot of people out there. A lot of people just like, I just want to solve one and then I'll be fine. I'm here to tell you that you're not going to be fine. It's never going to end. But what will change, I think you're more apt to just do it for the sake of the solve, not so much getting the prize. And you start to become more of somebody that kind of just helps other people. So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where I'm at with treasure hunting. I'm just like, I want somebody else to get that win. I mean, I have a couple I'm working on right now. Candy's on me with one right now. And it's just like, I want to get other people to have that feeling. I want them to feel that feeling. So kind of like I just lend myself out.
Is Robert the same Robert that we're working with right now for a certain park?
Robert is the same Robert. Yep. And Robert, he is the one that cracked the first half of that thing, and I did the other half of that thing.
Well,
and then
Derek was actually going to be on tonight, but then he said he couldn't because of work.
Right. So, well, let's say it's third things, because you're the most important third of that.
Yeah, and they're haunting me to go to the park. And they're like, please go to this park. And I'm like,
yeah.
Meh. I told him, I was like, hey, let's team up for the Peach State treasure starting, August 1st. And he was like, convenient. You want a coin? I want a brass key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Give and a take. Always a give and a take. So so yeah, I mean, do you have any other questions? I mean, I wish I could give you guys more as far as like, here's this picture, here's what it's going to be, but we're really kind of keeping stuff close to the vest right now, just because we want it to be something that really just crushes it when it releases. Like you can't not buy it. Yeah.
Doing the teaser. So, I mean, this is great. Like, you don't have to give us too much more. Like, and trust me, you set this up like beautifully. Like you've already told a story. It's kind of like Star Wars now. I just want to watch the whole trilogy, and then the other trilogy, and then the other trilogy. So yeah, I'm totally hooked right now. So
well, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's definitely you're gonna know what really makes me tick as far as a person when it comes to because the story is kind of my responsibility, and then I mean, you're gonna have to beat Robert if there is codes in there. I'm not saying that there is, but if there is, and if Robert is my partner, you're gonna have to get past him. The roles are kind of reversed on this one, because I was the co-author of. You guys remember the Tone in a Tree with Natalie Nelson?
Mhm.
So the roles were reversed on that. So Natalie wrote the imagery on that hunt, but he reached out to me and I actually created the ciphers for that hunt. So, but what I learned from that hunt is even though the ciphers took about 10 minutes to make, because the ciphers, you can, and the way it is right now is you can just go onto any decoder and just reverse encrypt something in a matter of minutes. And you can just kind of throw it up on a page and it could just take people months. I mean, it's really that fast. So what I learned kind of from that, I'm just like, all right, this is going to be done over and over and over and over again, just because it's so easy to do. And we're kind of witnessing that kind of like with these newer hunts that are kind of coming out, just like, you have that piece of the new world hunt. Yeah.
I needed you yesterday. You and Robert could have like split 100K with me yesterday. Where were you?
Oh, that beast guy, right?
Yeah, it was all
Yeah.
script. Like you could have hacked that stuff within like minutes.
Yeah, some of it, yeah, I mean, it's when it comes to that type of style, I mean, it's very time consuming. But for me personally, for me, it's something I tolerate. Like if it's something I have to get past, it's not something I'm like, wow, I get to just drag this into this. And if it doesn't work, then I'll drag it into that. Oh, it still doesn't work. Let me drag it into this. Let me try and brute force it like this. And 20 minutes later, I haven't even looked at the story. There is no story, and it's just, that's kind of how I personally feel when it comes to like a code and cipher based hunt. There's people out there that's what makes them tick. They're severely left brain people. And the way I love stories and images, they love that block of letters and numbers and stuff like that. So to create something that speaks to everybody, you cannot write those types of people off because they want to do the hunt too. And they want to be able to show off their skills, So it's just, you got to give them a little breadcrumbs as well.
Very good point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Shannon already just wants the book out. She's like, give it to me, please.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, so let's just talk about this whole little mini marathon. So first we had Johnny, who had like this intense light of energy, who just poured himself out here. Then we had AJ, who was like, he was classic. Like I want to get better so I can do better kind of a thing. I mean, he was awesome and strategic and just like textbook when it came to it. We had, who was next? Why my brain just go blank? There was somebody before Joel, right? Candy, help me. Where's my brain?
We had Johnny first, then we had
Calazars.
Prindle Mondays. AJ?
Okay, well, Calazars doesn't count because he's
AJ.
like the brother of the chase. So, I mean, he doesn't actually count. But okay, so then Joel was next. And Joel, good-hearted dude, got a solid like business plan set up. That's like perfect. And then Nick comes out here with storytelling passion play. I mean, we literally had a very well-rounded treasure hunt puzzle kind of people. I mean, literally full spectrum, right? I mean,
Mini marathon.
We did good. I mean, we got some good people. I think this is very well-rounded. I mean, I think the question is what's next? I mean, we're seeing a lot of hunts come out right now, a lot of things, is the world going to embrace them? And I think honestly, the world needs positive escapes from reality. I mean, the media is just a bunch of junk. I mean, our social and normal lives are really upended. Like we need things like this, and we need things like this hardcore because it gives us hope. It gives us something to put our minds to. It's good and it's healthy. And
this is something I've kind of been talking about a lot lately because when I talk about, reaching a broad market, I think everybody that's here in the chat room, they owe like a humongous amount of gratitude with like Jenny Kyle and Mysterious Writings, because everybody that puts out a hunt, you're pretty much getting exposure to about 2,000 people right away, and maybe out of those 2,000 people, maybe 200 something are active and stuff like that. But some of these hunt makers, they deserve more than 250 book sales, 300 book sales, and stuff like that. So I think the key here is to broaden that target market outside of the treasure hunting community. Because in the end of the day, this is a game. These are games, right? It's a puzzle. It's a game. We're just trying to find something. And there's other types of games out there that people do. People spend $25 on a DLC for a video game where they're just shooting each other or trying to solve a puzzle in the game, and they're selling millions of copies.
My husband spends a whole lot more on video games than that, just saying.
Right. And those people, you know, what are they getting in return for that? They're getting a little icon that says 150 gamer score, 50 kills in a row. Congratulations. Why not throw that same person a puzzle that's going to give them $5,000 prize if they can outwit the puzzle? It's the same concept. It really is the same concept. The only difference is that it's not moving. And if you want it to move, then fine. We'll make it to where it's like it leaves the book and goes to a website where you have to solve something on a website, and then it teleports you back to the book. I mean, we'll do what we have to do, but that market is out there. And whoever finally breaks through outside of like that bubble of a community that we have right now to where it'll just go viral. I think what made Fen go viral was its simplicity. I mean, couldn't you guys agree? I mean, Fen was like poem map.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks to a very broad spectrum. And I think that's why it's so successful. I mean, aside from the size of the prize, I mean, that's obvious, but what do you guys think?
You just confirm real fast, is your armchair with boots on the ground? Is that what I heard? Is that correct? Or is it just armchair? It's armchair with boots on the ground, right?
Yes, we are an armchair treasure hunt that's boots on the ground. The way we define it, you know what I mean? The way we define armchair treasure hunt is either A, it's you solve it at home and then you go out and look for something, or B, you solve it at home, but you don't have to leave your home, and then you have to tell us where it is. And then we have what we're calling now, what we define as like a prize puzzle, like Master Morpheus that was just solved. I'd call that like more of like a prize puzzle because the answer is like an email address. But ours in particular is an armchair treasure hunt. Your traditional solve it at home. Here's your location. You have to go there and dig it up. Did I say dig it up? I did say dig it up.
Gonna be like Fen and be like, I never said I was buried.
Say that you're going to bury it. What?
I'm sorry.
What? Bury? What? Dig. What? Oh, stop burying stuff, people.
I will say this, and this is coming from me who my big win was digging something up, but I had the luxury of being inside of a hedge maze in a city park, so nobody can see me. Nobody can hear me cursing. Nobody can hear me getting covered in mud because this thing wasn't coming up at the first hole. But there is a way. There is a way to bury something within inches. And the way our puzzle is solved, once you solve our puzzle, you are going to step on where you have to dig.
Wait, did you just say that you buried? It's already buried?
I never said that. I just said that. I never said whether or not it's buried right now, but I did say there is a way to bury something and have it within a square inch of how to get there. And if you know your history of treasure hunts, you should know what that means.
I feel like my mom is probably going to have an advantage on this because all those authors you dropped earlier, she reads all of them. And she's like, Candy, you need to read this. This will just blow your mind about ancient civilization. So the moment your book drops, I'm going to buy it from you, have you sign it, and be like, here you go, Mom, go to town. But I'm definitely excited for it. I think a lot of people, are you going to do any pre-sales or anything?
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on what I can afford to do as far as time. I mean, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I have 2 small boys. Trust me, if it was up to me alone and I had all the support in the world, I would hit as many cities as I can and just do book signings at Barnes & Noble or whatever. But it's, you know, it's really what's going to be available to me fun-wise and time-wise. I think if that doesn't get afforded to me, we can at least and there's several authors here that are doing this very well. Like Randy Pishel's doing it very well. Like he's present, but at the same time, he's not giving anything away. You know what I mean? And I think that speaks volumes. People need to see that. They need to see, all right, this guy's alive. Like this thing's still out there. So at the very minimum, you're going to get that from us. But you know, if anything ever comes out in terms of a hint where we feel like, man, they're just not getting it, and that might not be for a very long time, but it'll be available to everybody at the same time. We're big. We're just from what we've learned with different types of hunts, where it comes to access to the person, it just creates a conundrum. Like even with like the forest fen hunt and the lawsuits, and without trying to get into that, you know, it's just, there's such a conundrum now because of the access that has been granted over the history. So with that access, you know, comes, well, he told me this or he emailed me that and stuff like that. So we're avoiding that altogether.
That's very good to do.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the eerie silence. We all just. Can you tell we've been so too long now? Oh my God.
This was me flicking the quarter into the arena right there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So besides you working on creating your own hunt, are you trying to solve any other ones right now?
I have two. I usually don't do multiple hunts. Usually, and it's just my nature, just the way I work, because it's just because I'm a fireman. You know what I mean? I'm in the fire department. I've been in the fire department for 13 years, and it's a paramilitary organization. So, believe it or not, whenever I commit to a hunt, it's just, to me, it's more like a mission. It's just like, this is we have to finish this. This is the way it is. This is what we're doing. Very regimented. It's not even really fun along the way. It's not really fun until you solve it. But so I only work on like maybe one or two. One of them's with Candy. The two that I'm working on right now are pretty much at the finish line. But I'm not going to divulge what they are because I don't want to create panic in the chat and I want Candy. I want Candy to get that. I want Candy to get that win. I really do. So it's just
you get it for you, and then the other one, I don't know. Okay, got it. Amy wants to know: will there be a website or something like that for your book?
Yes. We already have that. I already have that in the works as far as like a website and stuff like that where you can go. I'm not guaranteeing that there'll be like hints or anything like that, but there'll be a website. We will have a Facebook page, and there'll be, as far as access to any type of information with the hunt, it's going to be available to everybody at the same time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, that's definitely going to be like the talk of the town next year when it releases.
We'll be one among many. I can guarantee you that. I think we're in a renaissance right now. So we'll see. I hope so. You know, I think that's great. I think it's great that that's happening. So.
Yeah, it keeps us all out of trouble, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, it's definitely getting like it. I think we're gonna sign off at 10, right? So we got like 15 more minutes. So Nick, help us finish the last 15 minutes of this. What should we talk about? What should we do?
Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm an open book. So I've been around for a while, so it's just like any hunt, any controversy, anything where you guys want to talk about structure. What makes it?
The fact that if you ever start a treasure hunt, you gotta let him know the basics of it, so then he will never actually solve it.
Wait,
me?
what?
Yeah. I was all, do you want to play my hunt that I'm going to be releasing, or do you want to know more about it? And he's like, I'm going to take a back seat. I just want to know about it. I'm like, good, because if you played it, it would be over in a day and I'd cry.
No, I'm not that good. I mean,
you almost got my Harry Potter one, and that one, like, after I released like a ton of clues, it finally was solved within a week. But if I just stayed silent like Fen, I think it would have lasted a month to 2 months if I really wanted.
Yeah, I think some hunts, just the way it is, man, I swear, it's almost like it's almost like you have your double, right? Everybody has like a doppelganger in the world, like the way they look. I feel that's the same way when it comes to these hunts. It's just like somewhere somebody just has that mind that's almost exactly like the guy that wrote it, exactly that the guy that drew it. I mean, unfortunately, nobody has this mind. So it's just, this thing is going to die the death that it deserves. But I truly believe that. I think that
I will burn it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I never gave Fandango a second look, okay, at all. Didn't. So tell me, give me like a brief description of what Fandango is.
Candy, go.
Like to me, Fandango is an app that I buy my movie tickets on, which is why I never got into the book. I mean,
how many curse words do you want? I think Candy can give you more curse words than I can. I know a lot about it.
I want to know, like what is what's is it an armchair? Is it boots on the ground?
Yes, it's an armchair and it's boots on the ground. It's been out since 2007. Very limited information from the author. I think when it comes down to when it comes down to the hunt itself, I think where it's, I wouldn't say it's lacking. I think it's there. I just think hunts have to have feedback mechanisms. Feedback mechanisms are ways to tell you that you're on the right track. And there hasn't been a solid feedback mechanism for Fandango for probably almost 10 years, Everything outside of that is theories. I mean, there's like a star riddle where you do the stars, kind of like Masquerade, and it's telling you there's numbers involved. But even if you tell people there's numbers involved, people just do their own thing, So I think that's kind of the direction it's gone, because there isn't that many feedback mechanisms involved in it. But it is an armchair treasure hunt. It's on Mount Desert Island, Maine. I'm looking at it right now as I'm talking to you with just disgust. But it's
to have the book for this treasure hunt.
Yes, and it definitely has like a Masquerade feel to it. And I got to be careful with my book.
Says Thanksgiving 2020 is the deadline.
Yeah, Thanksgiving 2020 is the deadline, and it's I actually probably was one of the only people that actually got to talk to Guy into the phone, because when I first got into the hunt, it just seemed like it was dead. And I'm like, I just bought this thing, so I tracked the guy's number down, and I'm like, hey man, I just bought this. Is this done? What's good? I can't find anything. He's like, yeah, it's done. He's like really laid back artist guy, but I didn't get anything out of him. Otherwise I would have had better progress, but it's still out there. And he's heavily influenced by Masquerade. Obviously you got Border Letters. So,
and if you want to your book, I will totally give it a go. There we go.
I didn't catch that. What'd you say?
My computer sucks. Wasn't Fandango created by the same two brothers that directed or created Bridge to Terabithia?
Yes. So Jeff.
Jeff. Okay, so wait, hold on. If that's true, that movie totally fucking sucked. Oh, sorry, bad word. I do apologize. It's a great movie, and then the little girl dies right in the middle of it. Like, what are you doing? No. So if Fandango is like the same kind of thing, no wonder you all hate it so much.
I have this hunch that is also going to be in connection to Bridges, because those brothers are obsessed with Bridges. Obsessed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember that movie. I remember like enjoying it, and then all of a sudden, like, I was like, this reminds me of a Disney movie where somebody dies. Like, no, like, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, if letdown was the word you're looking for, I can guarantee you that. I mean, it's been out for a while. I think in the end of the day, I think what we're going to see something that was looking us in the face the whole time. And then people are just going to really, I told Candy, I'm like, we just need to do a live Zoom and everybody just make like, this is like your hostage, and you have to it's like an ISIS video. Like you have to execute your book on live TV when the hunt comes to an end, because that's how frustrated this made so many people. So that's what I'm going to do with mine. I mean, I've resigned myself from it. It wins. I've held up the white flag a while ago, but I mean, oh well, you can't win them all. It's impossible.
I was convinced you were going to solve this damn thing. That's why when Greg started starting his Fandango Fridays, I was like, oh, you should definitely get Nick on here and stuff. And it was before we were talking again. He's like, who's Nick? And I'm like, somebody that you're gonna want to be best friends with because he lives and breathes this stuff. And he's like, okay.
I mean, there's dudes out there that have like killer solves, like that guy Minotaur. I don't know if I saw him in the chat. I mean, he put out a solve. I'm like, dude, that guy's onto something. But I don't know if he ever looked into his solve like physically. It's just such a hard place to get to. I mean, it's so up in the northeast corner. But I really liked what he had to say about it. I mean, he thinks kind of the way I do about things, just how when I looked at his solve and stuff, the way I did it, it was just like there's like these mountains in there, and I noticed that there are like these 3 mountains and they changed the elevations. But when you take the 3 mountains that he changed, it made a cross. And then there's this page with a cross, and then there's a shadow. So I'm like, well, maybe the tip of the cross in the map is pointing to this. But when I looked at it on a real map, it went to a bridge. Like you were saying, I'm like, holy cow. So I contacted this guy and from like Friends of Acadia. And he literally walked in like a foot of snow to the bridge. And he got there. And dude, I don't want to say he ripped apart the bridge. The bridge is fine, but he searched that bridge, man. Deerbrook Bridge. I mean, it's in the book, but I swear I thought it was there. And that was kind of like the last, like that was like the spear at the end of 300. Like, if this isn't it, man, I'm gonna die. So I died, and that was the last time I really
you said
went hard at. Yeah.
I'm gonna note that bridge, and maybe somebody goes back when it's not a foot of snow.
Yeah.
And he found like this huge nook and cranny, like on the underside of the bridge. I'm like, look on the bridge where the key is on this page, then go on the other side of it and see if there's something there. And then he's talking to me on the phone. He goes, yeah, man, there's this big hole there. And I'm like in Disney World, like cold sweating, like at a table with my wife next to me. I'm like, just put your hand in there. And he put his hand in there and there was nothing. I was like, oh, dude.
Well, maybe somebody already got it and they don't know what they got. I mean,
that would suck.
Happens. I mean, it happens. I mean,
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always bent thinking that the key was in the fireplace. You know, the picture where everything's on fire, and then it shows like the fireplace with the torn down bricks. I always thought it was in there.
There is a fire. There's an abandoned fireplace like that on the island. So what I was thinking, I'm like, there's a separate island on Mount Desert Island that it's called Bar Island. But the only way you can get to Bar Island is when it's at low tide. So at low tide, what happens is that the water parts and it creates a road that you can walk across, but you can only do it at a certain time of day. So how perfect for a hunt that has to do with the wind and it has to do with the sea, which creates the tide that's creating this pathway for you. And when you cross over to that island, you come to a sign that says private land, which is what one of the guys says in the book. And on that island is 2 abandoned fireplaces that are almost identical to the ones in the book. But I mean, I think even Jenny Kyle went and looked at that because she went out there a couple of times too, but she never found anything either in those fireplaces. I mean, it was like, dude, so runs you around.
Was that the place where you and Natalie did your Tone in the Tree hunt? Because I remember, wasn't it Beth and someone else who found it, but it was like someone found it before them and it was at low tide or something?
No, yeah, well, similar concept, yes. So with Tone in the Tree, and the way Tone in the Tree worked was my part in it was the cipher part. So once you solve the cipher part, you're going to get a message that says Cooksey Drive Overlook, and you're going to get you're going to get 2 spots, and the 2 spots are going to show you like Seal Harbor and Otter Cliffs, and that'll give you the 2 spots. Cooksey Drive Overlook was in between those. And if you solve the last cipher, you'll get that. And Beth is just, dude, I mean, you got to write hard hunts because people like that exist. You know, it's just, they're out there, and she's on a level of cipher solving skills that's just, it's above and beyond. So she solved that. And then once you get past that, then you go to Natalie's portion of the hunt where it's purely visual, where you had to go one way and you had to find this quartz vein. And if you looked at the hints, it would say like the key is in your blood and follow your veins. There was this white quartz vein that went from the ocean all the way up to this humongous quartz rock. And what he did is he hit a key on top of the rock in a tree. And you had to get the key from there, go back to the starting point where you came down the stairs, and then you had to go to find the chest. and the chest was hidden inside, literally just like a crack in the cliff face. Like, I was almost against him putting it in there. I'm like, dude, this could go really bad, because if somebody gets like that gold bug and there's like snow and there's ice and it's the Maine, dude, it's water in Maine, you know, if somebody slips and they fall into that water's sucking them out. It's not like Florida where it's like glass. It's Maine. So, I mean, we still did it. And unfortunately, the way that hunt ended, it's just the person went to the right spot and they crawled in there, and somehow that chest was not in there. So it was just, we were just baffled. I'm like, how can it not be in there? It was so well hidden. But they were declared the winners, and I think they worked something out with Natalie anyway. But the concept was still the same. It's like, there was a tide aspect to it that kind of encouraged you to go at low tide, because it would be drier and you'd have easier access to getting that crack in the wall.
Man. All right, guys. Well, 3 minutes to 10 o'clock. So let's say our goodbyes. Thank you, everybody who came on tonight, if you're still in the chat room, or if you're watching it post replay mode. Thank you, Nick, for coming on and talking. I'm like, I've never been into this Fandango, but I think I might have to go look into it, just because I have deadlines. I procrastinate less when there's a deadline. So maybe we're getting close. So, and then there's already so much information out there, so I won't have to do a lot of work. I can just copy what everybody else did and then try to piece it together. Fingers crossed, maybe. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Candy, thank you so much for having this idea. And I don't know why I ever said I would do it with you, but we did it. And now we can go drink some more and not look drunk on YouTube. So
I'm still in my first week, so I suck.
Me too.
I love you all.
I'm like Cersei Lannister. After I'm done talking, I just sip my drink.
Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a good one. And until next time, bye.
Take it easy.